So Kilo is a anti-Destiny snarker who is a leftist. Unfortunately, I know a little bit more about Kilo than I want to know. All right. Kilo is the former editor for President Sunday. I say former because I believe it is actually over the anti-Destiny released video that they were beefing with each other on. Because they have beefed with each other on that, Kilo would then leave the team, and Kilo would then make a video against President Sunday. And President Sunday himself is an ex-orbiter of Vosh, and Vosh is an ex-orbiter of Destiny. Kilo is a talented editor, but he has been completely mind by the Snarker sphere. And as somebody who was friends with another person who knew Kilo really well, very sad case. Let's just put it like that. Kilo basically made a video defending Hasan because of the Snarker's anti-Destiny alliance. And Hasan would finally watch Kilo's video. Okay, here we go.
Longest time. I think many of these guys actually come from the Orbiter community.
By the way, I don't think Kilo was ever a fan of Destiny. I think Kilo maybe has been always a leftist, but I could be wrong. Anyway.
And they used to be orbiters of Destiny, and then they
Masaki,
realized
thank you so much again for the 5 gifted.
Who was kind of...
so I think this is the part that is wrong.
Who was kind of using the fuck...
You can literally see somebody in his chat saying he's not. Like, yeah, this is not factually correct.
Hasan method to get away with doing actual fucking criminal shit. The Kilotonics video is insane. I never knew you had more villains in your rogues gallery than Batman and Spider-Man combined. Yeah, I do. Here, let's watch this a little bit. Let's get a little taste of this.
Hasan is best summarized as being very passionately progressive, anti-capitalist, pro-Palestinian, and overall just having somewhat radical takes that go against the grain. And he can occasionally make comments that have a tendency to make a lot of people very upset.
America deserved 9/11, dude. Fuck it, I'm saying it. We fucking totally brought it on ourselves, dude. Holy shit, we did.
Over the duration of his career online, while he does have some support around him, Hasan has gradually become public enemy #1 for a lot of creators and their fan bases. He draws some pretty intense criticism from not just the right, but also the left. And lately, he's even becoming more and more of a regular target for a bunch of apolitical idiot slop channels.
Hey, Hasan, you crying stupid bitch. Brother, you are the biggest piece of shit I have ever seen. Shut your fucking mouth.
The attacks on Hasan range from him encouraging violence, to him being an anti-Semite, to him simply being kind of stupid, which is probably kind of true.
I don't know which is which, dude. Doesn't know where Yemen is. I think nope. This...
Oh my god, this is so funny. Oh lord.
This is literally a video about my critics making ridiculous claims and him unironically using me joking that was then...
Oh my god, he's still covering! He's still covering! Oh my god. He's still on that copium. He is still on that copium!
Taken seriously by Epstein, who probably knew that I was joking at the time, but still used this as an example.
Oh, come on, bro. Come on, dude.
I still remember this. There was... I accidentally couldn't find where Turkey is. Of course I'm fucking joking. You didn't think about that?
Dude. Oh my god, dude. Like, this is so egregious that not even snarkers like Kilo can defend this. And Hasan is still trying to defend this, essentially. It's very sad, okay? He is such an insecure man. He is such a wildly insecure man.
On Turkey, the country that I'm from, that I lived in for the first 18 years of my life. I was baiting my fucking chat. Nope. Got it.
Now, this video is not really about debunking every argument against him, but a lot of the attacking is coming from pretty dishonest places. Like the time...
It's so crazy, man. I can't even fucking... Even a video that's like supposed to take a critical lens, still, that's how much staying power hater narratives have on the internet. That's how much staying power it has. Bro, before that video, before that me fucking around on stream, I had written extensively about the crisis in Yemen.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean you know where it is. Have you ever pointed out the correct location of Yemen before that?
Like years prior to that. That's crazy. Been a fan for 6 years, didn't know what that was the context of that clip.
I wouldn't be surprised if this viewing by Hasan bolstered the Snarkers numbers by a tiny bit, at the very least. Why do you randomly have a gallon of water? Because I stole them from kids in Africa. You're welcome.
It blows my mind. Getting the treatment of a woman not being able to make jokes. I know. I mean, that's besides the point, for the record. Like, that's obviously not that serious. Who cares? But it is kind of wild that, like, even a video that's supposed to take like a 4-hour, very critical approach to like what my fucking haters have developed around me as like this mythology of a stupid guy who is also very...
I mean, what he's saying here doesn't really mean anything if he's saying it himself, right?
Bad and a dangerous terrorist. still ends up falling for it. You know what I mean?
People claimed that Hasan urged his viewers to kill U.S. Senator Rick Scott. Here's what he said.
If you cared about Medicare fraud or Medicaid fraud, you would kill Rick Scott.
This clip got Hasan suspended, and many to this day claim that he was issuing a death threat towards a U.S. senator. The issue there is that Hasan is clearly talking to U.S. Speaker of the House Mike Johnson, who's making remarks about how much he wants to combat Medicare fraud.
The reason why I'm saying if you cared about Medicare or Medicaid fraud, you would kill Rick Scott and not make him a prominent part of the Republican Party.
So Hasan is clearly saying, Mike Johnson, if you actually cared about Medicare fraud, you'd do the opposite of what you've done with Rick Scott because of how
I know what Kilo is talking about here, and I don't think that's a valid argument. However, I think that there are multiple times in which Hasan has, in fact, inferred, advocated for violence, advocated for Pepe posted, Fed posted many times. For example, Hasan would, at some point in the past, he has suggested when he talked about West Bank raids, he brought up Ethan Klein. And yeah, that was fucking freaky as shit. Is this video running cover for Hasan? Yes, because it's primarily anti-Destiny. Yeah, because these people are primarily anti-Destiny, so therefore they have to lean one way or another, yeah.
egregious of an offender he is. Rick Scott is pretty well known for conducting one of the largest
But just keep in mind, like people like Jay Stoke, right? Another person from that group is super anti-Hasan before he separated from Destiny. Then he made a 180.
calls for him to be deplatformed, and people have even become pretty chill with the US government violating Hasan's First Amendment rights. No, I'm not saying you can't dislike the guy, I don't give a shit. The dude preaches socialism and drives a Porsche.
How?
Like, I get it. I'm not a Hasan fan, I've literally never even watched his.
Okay, I don't think that's the truth. I think Kilo probably became a Hasan fan after the entire anti-Destiny community got on it.
But the tendency for people to lose their minds and just make shit up whenever Hasan is involved left me wondering, how did we get here? Ethan Klein, also known as H3H3, is 40 years old. He has a massive following on YouTube, and he's a pretty significant figure in the history of content creation.
Oh yeah, the fucking Destiny snarkers fucking hate Ethan Klein as well. So yeah, just mainly because Ethan Klein was generally on Steven's side against Hasan. That's literally the only reason.
I wish more people would explore whether or not this is inherently contradictory to my worldview at all. You know, one day we're going to get there where people understand that, you know, socialism doesn't mean you can't have nice things, or socialism doesn't mean you can't be successful in any way, shape, or form. It's about.
Bro, the worst part about Hasan is that he is such a self-victimizer. Like, I don't think I've ever seen Hasan fucking self-victimize. I don't think I've ever saw somebody like Hasan like this. Like, Lord.
In 2021, Ethan and Hasan started a podcast together called The Leftovers until October of 2023, when a Hamas-led terror attack targeted Israeli citizens. After the attack, Ethan and Hasan went live for an emotional episode discussing the events.
As a father, it's even hard to talk about. This dude was holding his infant, who was like a year old.
Ethan is an Israeli-American dual citizen and feels passionately about Israeli geopolitics. He's also married to Hila, who was born in Israel and served in the IDF. The Kleins actually even met each other in Israel. Hasan, on the other hand, is passionately in support of Palestine, and the resulting ideological differences between the two led to some on-air friction following the start of the conflict.
By the way, people will also but people will not mention on purpose that if you're born in Israel, IDF is mandatory service, okay? So whether or not you like the IDF or you dislike the IDF, okay, obviously the vast majority of people, they love the IDF, okay? Because if you're born in Israel, because that's literally the military, but you're forced to be in the IDF regardless, okay? You're forced to be in the IDF regardless. Yes, it's either join or jail, all right? Yeah.
This is when the divide started to form between Ethan and Hasan. Early on, for instance, Ethan would take issue with some things that Hasan's chat was saying about him, and he criticized him for not moderating it more effectively.
Do you care that your chat is calling you racist? Do you make any attempt to modify?
I have not looked at my chat.
Moderate that
I
at
have
all?
not looked at my chat at all. But you.
I just opened it. But don't you have moderators? Do you care at all about what your audience says about me?
There's 32,000 people. My feelings were hurt. It's like the first year of Israel's genocide of the Palestinians was literally just about the feelings of people who wanted to defend Israel. That was all it was. College campuses, my feelings are hurt. In broad daylight, my feelings are hurt.
Guys, okay, I've been over this before, but I'm just going to clarify real quick, okay? It's not about the feelings, okay? It's not about the feelings, it's about the snarking. And they're not the same thing. Snarking touches upon IRL, all right? It touches upon CPS calls, swatting, right? It is specifically speech that is used to serve a soft justification for IRL harassment, right? By the way, the snarkers going after Destiny also says this, right? They will also say that, oh yeah, well, it like Steven's feelings are hurt. We're just offering criticism, right? The parallels are here. All you have to do is put a minimal amount of effort to find out what the parallels are, okay?
I'm just trying to tell you guys how it feels. And I'm fucking shocked that you don't care that people in your chat are saying, who the fuck is this child, cold, arrogant, and
Ethan, I love you, but there's only so much I can do.
How can you be surprised when you're...
To save us time, let's not get too bogged down with specifics.
Yeah, and then people are like, people use that to be like, oh, remember XQC? You got mad at XQC? Yeah, dumbass, I did. Because XQC was farming me for also being right about the fucking gambling situation.
Wait, what are you talking about? Because I'm pretty sure, bro, Hasan doesn't know So when Twitch was like freaking out over the gambling shit, they were also promoting like fucking Fansly to their audience of minors and shit like that. Like I don't want to hear it. Okay, these people are all the same to me. Okay, they'll virtue signal and moral frog on a specific thing, but only as a means to an end. They'll only do it as a means to an end to snark on their enemies. Okay, they'll never do it. They'll never do it. Okay, for the pure fact that they are against gambling. I think the reason why they do it is because it's a convenient attack vector for them, okay? But this has always been the core of snarking. The core of snarking has always been about finding new attack vectors and moving on to the next one and flooding the zone, okay?
I was right about the gambling situation, and he aggressively leaned into attacks against me and my community for being right about the gambling situation, but too early, far too early for people's taste. And people went along with it, and to this day still, they fucking aggressively hound my ass, okay?
Okay.
Same with fucking Ethan. Because for a lot of people, they have baby brains. They can't think of concepts beyond the parasocial feelings that they have for their favorite content creators. Oh, you hurt this content creator's feelings. Fuck you. You hurt that content creator's feelings. Fuck you.
Okay, man.
Especially when we're talking about like a geopolitical incident, a fucking genocide, the crime of all crimes. Like, who gives a fuck about people's feelings? Stop being babies, man. How can you behave in a tribalistic manner to
Again, I have to clarify, these people are using the Palestinian issues, okay? I think this is a subgroup of Hasan's audience that knows what they're doing and knows exactly what they're trying to do, okay? The Palestinian issues shit is a convenient attack vector to attack everybody that they despise. All the way from the Democratic Party to Destiny to XQC to Asmongold to whatever. It doesn't matter. All right. It's because it's almost like the universal issue that you get to use as a convenient attack vector fucking forever. Okay. That will always be used because it will forever be effective. Okay. Because how dare you not question the genocide in Gaza, right?
Nutshell, over the course of the next year, the divide between Ethan and Hasan grew larger and larger. Ethan in the H3 community believed that Hasan was promoting extremist.
Is this the guy? Didn't we ban him before? For the record, I don't agree with the champagne socialism criticism. I was just saying I understand why on the surface some people get rubbed the wrong way. I don't think you're bad. Smile. Oh, one day.
Oh, hey, look, it's Kilo right there. Ay, ay, ay. So Kilo says in Hasan's chat, okay, Hasan, for the record, I don't agree with the champagne socialism criticism. I was just saying I understood why on the surface some people get rubbed the wrong way. I don't think you're, quote, bad. Ah, this is Kilo sucking up to Hasan because he finds a convenient way to basically elevate himself in the space, right? Because if Kilo becomes like an orbiter like Denims or whatever the fuck, right? That's a great way for the snarkers to essentially intermix into Hasan's crowd, okay? I've gone over this before, okay? But J-Stelk literally tries to bait Hasan raids into his Twitch channel on purpose because, yeah, you never know, right? You never know. They've been trying to get into the Hasan sphere for so fucking long at this point. So fucking long, okay? But yeah, there you go. I have no idea whether or not Hasan will ever accept them, just mainly because these people have extremely, like, even for the brochurists, okay? Even for the misogynistic brochurists, even then, they are way too misogynistic. I think they're way too openly misogynistic. I think they're way too openly racist. Everything, okay? All the extremes, right? I just don't see how somebody like Purple Perry Gaming or Mrao or Aiden will ever fit inside of Hasan's circle. And I think that Hasan knows that. I think Hasan knows that he has to find some way to differentiate himself from the other anti-Destiny groups, okay? Because I just, there's no way these fucking woke skull lefties will ever accept these snarkers unless something crazy happens. I have no idea, okay? I literally have no idea, but the anti-Destiny snarkers are on another level of extremism, okay? Even though Hasan's snarker crowd they are just as vicious, but they will not go to the same vernacular as much as anti-Destiny snarkers. Anti-Destiny snarkers are fucking nuts, okay? They're so nuts. They're literally so nuts that they're making fun of Steven being molested as a kid, all right? His IRL experience, okay? Like they are so crazy that they're making fun of that. I don't think Hasan's crowd is going to get there, okay? Maybe maybe if they're shameless enough, because they are extremely shameless, but I think Hasan values his outward appearance too much. I think he tries to keep it sterile. He tries to keep that appearance sterile so that he can continue to go on NPR and New York Times and whatever, right? He otherwise, like if he starts associating with, you know, like Purple Parrot Gaming, I just don't think it'll happen. I just don't think so. Okay, because otherwise it's just not conducive to Hasan's goals, basically. But obviously, hey, listen, I cannot predict everything. Okay, I can't predict everything. I get it. Okay.
Ethan Klein isn't the originator of the masked arrangement about Hasan, but his situation has given some of the most annoying drama slop tubers the perfect vehicle to pretend to have political opinions, escalate their grudges, and in the process, smash all standards of behavior for political and commentary creators. So today we're going to recognize some of these creators.
It's true. I mean, it bricked and probably even created a new funnel for right-wing to far-right content creation and right-wing to far-right viewers, created like the next Gamergate, basically.
Oh God, like these people acknowledge the pro-snarkers exist, but they have so much cognitive dissonance. I think Hasan is very well aware. Okay, I think Hasan is aware of how hypocritical he's being, but I don't think a lot of Hasan fans know. I don't think a lot of Hasan fans know like how hard the cognitive dissonance is. I don't think they understand that a lot of the things that Hasan is talking about when it comes to the Gamergaters are exactly the same things that would also apply to themselves. I don't think they realize that. I don't think they realize that. I don't because I don't think that Hasan also cultivates the self-awareness skills necessary in order to come to that realization. I think that Destiny is typically very careful about the way that he cultivates his audience when it comes to developing self-introspection skills. But I think that Hasan is one part. This is why, again, there's a lot of people in DGG that are very harsh critics of DGG, right? But I don't think Hasan encourages his audience to develop these skills. I don't think he encourages his audience to develop skills of self-introspection, self-realization, and looking inwards. But yeah.
I ever came onto the scene, or you know, when I was at the Young Turks and a smaller content creator that was like largely irrelevant to the grand scheme of things, obviously there were a lot of content creators who were doing this by attacking the Young Turks, and they created a funnel. You had the Gamergate era. A lot of people were radicalized and went down the right-wing rabbit hole back then. This is the new rabbit hole. The new rabbit hole is anchored around developing unbelievable levels of enmity towards a designed villain of the internet. And it has made people's standards completely fall apart. No one has any standards anymore. The type of shit that people would normally criticize across the board, the rest of the internet would create this like protective ecosystem, would you know, the community was self-police in these sorts of circumstances. If there was a content creator that was like going after people's money.
I can't prove it. Listen, okay? I can't prove it. But it feels as though Hasan is taking these talking points from Destiny. Like, for example, the self-policing talking point, I've said it before. Destiny has said it before. I just can't prove it. Because I don't think this talking point originally came from Hasan, right? This insulated community talking point where they don't police themselves, they don't call out themselves, right? These are points that did not originate from Hasan, okay? Nor from any of his orbiters or fans, okay? Understand?
For example, going after their advertisers with like slander, with ridiculous claims. Most people would, yes, I said designed, not designated, designed. The reason why I said designed as a figure of enmity is because there should have never been this level of anger and hatred unless all of these guys are super fucking far right. Many of these guys are not even far right. They just position themselves as anti-left.
Right.
Okay?
Thank you, Hasan.
They position themselves as anti-left. And for the last like 7 years at this point, I've just been on the receiving end of a barrage of smears, A-logging, cyber stalking. And that's part of the reason why so many people
where does Hasan get the term cyber stalking and A-logging, right? He's using correct terms here, right, for his own intentions, but where did he get these? Where does he get these terms?
Opinions of me have been shaped by that. And not only that, but I think a lot of these people, without even realizing, have developed right-wing opinions. There are plenty of these people. There are plenty of people out there who just kind of watch TikToks or watch these clips or watch these drama summaries who would self-identify as liberals.
He got them from a dictionary? Fuck no. Fuck no. Also, by the way, all right, just so you know, okay, Hasan orbiters are like, they factually follow the Destiny Snarkers, okay? So it's only a matter of like 1 degree of separation. It's like a 1 degree of separation of Hasan. Like like literally all it takes is is Hasan getting DMs from his close people that also follow the Snarkers. Okay, that's all it takes.
Without realizing, think that such a toxic, odious, repulsive figure like myself could never be in favor of a good policy. So they end up thinking like, oh no, everything that he's advocating for, all the candidates that he's advocating for, he's stumping for, they must also be bad. Their only worldview revolves around what these content creators have developed, which is not sincerely held beliefs, not like an actual moral compass or anything like that, but just whatever the fuck I'm doing, they're against.
This is oh my god, because this is the more common thing. I can totally see Hasan coming up with this himself, obviously because he's such a big self-victimizer. However, this is literally verbatim the way that Destiny Snarkers do things, right? Everything that is opposite of Destiny, they will endorse. Anything, and they'll find the reasons retroactively. Basically, they work from the conclusion in which they're supposed to do things, and then they'll create justifications beforehand, okay? And they'll try to go with the strongest there. Yeah, just so you know, this is exactly how they do things. But
for their contributions to this online culture shift. One where truth doesn't matter, there are no bad tactics, only bad targets, and anything goes as long as you win. These are the Weasley Little Liar Awards. Starting with Ethan Klein.
This is a lie.
Yeah, it does not look.
This is a disgusting fucking lie. And here on the H3 show, we tell the truth. And soon we're going to be able to do that. So I'm really very grateful and excited for that.
Because I am honest to a fault, Dan. I'll have you know.
Yeah, no, that I'm aware of.
I don't lie, but some people do lie. Name one thing I've ever lied about. You can't. I'm allergic to lying.
Bro, I'm truthful in every fucking conceivable way.
I feel like I'm honest to a fault.
I'm not a liar. I don't believe in lying. I would never lie to you. I've never lied.
I am not a liar. I feel like I've never lied about anything in my whole
I wish you were more of a liar.
the best faith interpretation of Hasan is that he's a rigid idealist. I just think the best faith interpretation of Hasan is that he's a liar.
Probably save us a.
Being anti-left inherently makes you open to the far right. Yes, and that's precisely what took place. Anti-communism oftentimes doesn't stop at just liberalism. It takes you to weird fascist pivots. Okay. This is a smaller version of that, like a more online drama-focused version of that. Mm-hmm. Because I was presented as the figurehead of all things left by a lot of these people, they didn't even realize, but there many of these people that watch these content
2026 buzzwords seem to be parasocial gaslighting and the coup de grace doxing. Well, actually, there is only one 2026 buzzword, and it has been the buzzword for the last 2 decades. It's pedophile, 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 pedophile. You're a pedophile. Okay, stop.
Creators didn't even realize, but they were developing enmity towards the left and the left position of American politics, while they were simply trying to stay informed.
When I started researching for this video, I already knew that Ethan had been dishonest about some things throughout his feud with Hasan, but I was a little
Kilotonics, don't sue me for walking away to piss.
surprised to learn just how long of a history Ethan has of dishonesty. A very clear and repeated pattern of it, in fact. Now, you'll very rarely catch Ethan in a direct overt lie. What happens far more commonly is that Ethan will kind of just say things. He makes statements about other people or ongoing situations as though they're a fact, when he has no evidence to be saying the thing to be saying. For instance, back in 2021, there was this whole falling out between Ethan and his former podcast co-host, Trisha Paytas. During the breakup, Ethan made this tweet where he claimed that Trisha had accused him of sexually harassing her, which it kind of gives off this, like, I'm being falsely Me Too'd kind of vibe, right? But in the video Ethan's responding to, which is this one, Trisha doesn't really say anything like that. This video is pretty much just about Ethan bringing up topics like her sexual assault, medical history, and other things that supposedly triggered her. Trisha responded to Ethan on Twitter by saying she didn't even think he had watched her video, and given how far off he was, it's entirely possible that Ethan just read the title and went nuts. The only time Trisha even remotely approaches suggesting sexual harassment was when she complained that Ethan was sexualizing her beauty products.
None of it felt right. Being sexualized, the skincare being sexualized, you know, none of it felt right.
After Ethan watched the video, here's how he responded to that claim.
Did she say I sexually harassed her? No, she didn't say that, but she said I was making everything sexual. I was making her beauty products sexual. I feel like she really tried her app. She tried to ruin my life, my reputation, my business.
And this is what Trisha was referring to.
This is your self-love.
Oh, why was that sexual?
What?
Look at you're like, oh, it was like a money shot. Watch how she squirts this shit.
This is your self-love.
Yeah, also kind of phallic.
What?
You say, Trish, what's the secret? And then you show like a phallus. It looks like a cock. What? Balls and cock.
What are you talking about?
Look, 2 balls and a cock. It's like a giant phallus.
Oh my god, it's the products in the
Bro, it's literally a penis.
I'll
Is there
face.
jizz in your makeup?
If I don't make a wipe, I take
Is there
makeup off.
semen in your makeup?
Huh?
Is there semen in your makeup?
No.
I don't even care that Ethan did this. I mean, yeah, that looks like dick and balls. But Ethan acted so disgusted at the idea that he would do something like that, and said that Trisha must have been trying to ruin his reputation. The irresponsibility of Ethan's reaction is likely what led to many H3 fans believing that Trisha accused him of actual sexual assault, and they might still believe that to this.
There's so much left out. I wouldn't be surprised. I know nothing about the Trisha Paytas shit, but you guys are definitely more terminally online than I am. Okay. Henry Kissinger. It's a shame both sides cannot lose.
Day. You might call what Ethan did here a false.
Trisha married Gila's brother. What? Really? Damn.
False accusation.
I didn't know
lying.
that.
But while Ethan did acknowledge that Trisha didn't accuse him of sexual harassment, would it really have been that crazy if she had?
Well, a ton of the comments said things like talking about my mom's breasts and asking if I was breastfed because they heard in a previous episode Ethan talking about my mom's breasts in detail.
Her mommy milkers.
Yes, right. Yeah, to quote Ethan, I believe.
So I was hoping you could help me.
I can help you. I'd love to help you, actually. I've actually dreamed of helping you. What happened to your hand, buddy? Jerking off too hard? Is that a masturbation injury? She has tried to penetrate him with a scrappy.
Stop. Don't need to bring it up all the time.
Well, not all the time.
This is, yeah, this is snarking. Ethan is a snarker. Yeah.
What, my third time since I learned about it?
Well, does he hyperfixate on one person? Yes, actually, on Hasan, right? And I think his attacks on Hasan go beyond his political beliefs. Yeah, so
3 days.
There's this guy, Brad the Bull, who's like railing his wife, but that's neither here nor there. Hasan's the type of dude who watches himself in the mirror when he has sex. That's funny.
Okay, that was weird when you said that.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought it was funny.
Well, I'm sure, but
It's
it's made me uncomfortable. I don't know. I'm like,
Just a lot of volume. Because when you're eating pussy, you need to make sure that... Oh, you went to Italy for how long?
4 weeks.
You went to Italy. You guys stayed in touch. No strange Italian dick, I'm assuming.
No.
Have you seen your dad naked? Does Ian walk around naked? If you had privacy, would you walk around naked?
Gross.
By the way, Anissa reached out. She wants to meet at the Motel 6 tonight at 11.
excuse me?
Because I'm going to fuck him for her? Because she's the cuck?
You know, the first time that you made the Anissa the cuck joke,
Well,
it hit
what
really
happened?
good.
Well,
And
what
I feel like each subsequent one we're getting further and further.
What was wrong with the one with the...
like that, like these are gross jokes. Okay, what the fuck, bro? I didn't even know he made all these jokes. I'm not here to defend Ethan Klein. I just don't think Ethan Klein is defensible in many ways. Okay, Jesus, this guy is like a, oh my god, this guy has landmines.
With that? I thought
It just sounded weird. Kind of creepy.
Okay, if you're gonna constantly joke around like that with people you know personally, including your own employees, you don't get to react like this when you think one of them might be accusing you of sexual harassment. Anyway, that was just one of what might have been many potential examples of Ethan misrepresenting things during the fallout with his former co-host. But their breakup was a total shit show, and it's possible Trisha isn't the most reliable person either, so maybe you're willing to give Ethan some grace with this one. Understandable. But what about the defamation lawsuit that was filed against Ethan by Ryan Kavanaugh? In 2021, Ethan was sued by Triller, which one of Kavanaugh's companies had a controlling interest in. The lawsuit was related to the H3 podcast, streaming clips from a boxing match between Jake Paul and Ben Askren, which was a pay-per-view event that Triller owned the exclusive rights to. Now, Ethan did admit to pirating the fight in DMs with Philip DeFranco, saying that he didn't want to financially support Jake Paul, who'd been credibly accused of sexual assault. But the lawsuit was specifically for copyright, especially given that Ethan had shown on screen an unlisted link to a full upload of the fight. Ethan objected strongly to this lawsuit, essentially suggesting that it was frivolous and he was being unfairly singled out. One thing he noted was that Triller had been dropping most of their other lawsuits against actually potentially illegal restreaming sites. But most of those sites, they didn't have strong evidence.
Ethan always had a crass sense of humor. Yeah, but it wasn't just a crass sense of humor for the sake of humor. It's like, it feels like he has genuine animosity. It feels like he has genuine animosity against people, but he was just using humor as a way to snark them, right? It's the same way. It's the same way that, you know, any snarker would do their thing, right? I don't think. Fuck. It's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to pin down. It's kind of hard to pin down whether Ethan belongs under the category of snarker. No, I don't think he belongs there. Just because his audience doesn't do the snarking thing of going out of their way to harass people IRL or like call up CPS and calling and swatting people. So I would say in that sense he's not. In that sense he's not. But Snarkers has never been just about have never been just about the IRL harassment. I think it's more like if you share most shared characteristics, I don't know. And that's like your entire thing as a content creator?
Against, whereas Ethan broadcast the fight and a link to it on a recorded live stream. Triller also made it known that they would be taking an aggressive approach to suing people who pirated or redistributed their product, and Ethan wasn't the only content creator they pursued to that end. But his frustrations and public statements.
I rewatched your big debate with him recently when you mentioned it on stream, and holy shit, he cried more about his own feelings than I remembered at the time. Lamau, you'd be like, why don't you care about the genocide?
Wait, literally doesn't Hasan do that all the fucking time? The fuck? Bro. These people all lack self-introspection, and for good reason, right? Like I've said this before, but none of them can self-introspect for shit. Like they are all very, 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 very bad at it.
Yeah,
Not
as
good.
people's opinions evolve throughout time on the issue of Israel versus Palestine, I think if you go back and watch the content nuke now, or if you go back and watch the debate, you will realize how unserious he was throughout the entire process and how insanely pro-Israel, and therefore I don't think this is a stretch to say pro.
He's really not, dude. I don't know what the fuck Hasan is on about right now, but he really is not. I think that Hasan is tripping here, okay? I think that Hasan is Delulu, okay? I think he is being Delulu here, okay? Obviously.
Israeli genocide of Palestinians. He personally designed himself to be.
What? Oh my God.
Now, I do think that societal
Yeah.
attitudes would shift this dramatically over such a short period.
Yeah, he is coping. Hasan objectively got destroyed in that debate. Absolutely. Beyond the shadow of a doubt. Listen, okay? If there's any, listen, dude, it's not even, no, I don't even want to entertain it. I don't even want to entertain it. It's not funny. It's not funny, okay? It's not even funny how destroyed he was, okay? Like in that debate. It's not even, bro, get off here. Okay, I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that face.
At a time. But even when you look
Christ.
back at it, like, even when you look back at it with today's attitude, you will realize, oh my fucking God, this guy is unbearable.
About the case led to a series of additional lawsuits between him and Triller, which Ethan Klein chose to respond to by beginning to disparage Ryan Kavanaugh.
Like his biggest, look, I'll tell you this much, okay? The reason why he was able to get away with so much shit smearing for like the first 2 years of Israel's genocide was because most people either didn't know anything about what was going on, had like some residual pro-Israel opinions as a consequence of the way that the mainstream media had presented Israel as a reliable ally for decades prior, or the people that knew a little bit more or had antagonistic positions to Israel were too afraid to say anything because back then, still, when someone called you a fucking anti-Semite, it was over, right? And there are still plenty of content creators who refuse to touch this issue because they either don't know enough or can't hold their own in a debate or a conversation around these issues and are genuinely still terrified of being hit with that cannon of gross accusations and smears.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks.
You have to remember that. That's why, if you're wondering why so many fucking content creators remain silent throughout this entire process, that's a big part of the reason. That is a big part of the reason. Because they thought, oh, this is bad. I don't want to touch this because this is Israel-Palestine related. This is politics related. The Sabragate. Like, remember? 30-day bans.
Oh my God. Really? From what I remember, Sabragate was like, okay, there's a tier list and there's a Sabra tier, which references specifically, like basically it's a reference to Israel, right? It's very obviously a reference to Israel. They put Ben Shapiro in that tier, okay, in the thumbnail, when Frogan was on there on the stage on TwitchCon or something, I think. And then in the background were a bunch of sponsors. And then obviously the big freak out was that, well, you're in front of a bunch of sponsors and you're clearly doing something very blatantly anti-Semitic, right? That's basically what Sabragate was. And it was totally, it made total sense, okay? That is snarking, but yeah.
For content creators, including a Jewish content creator, for Sabragate.
Yeah, I mean, like, this is just tokenization, right? This is just going like, okay, you're one of the good ones. You may be Jewish, but you're one of the good ones, right?
Because they did a hummus tier list, and they ranked the different kinds of hummus that was good to shitty. And people sat around, Asmongold, Ethan Klein, Destiny, they all sat around and made sincere pleas to stop the anti-Semitism.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Hasan.
The Habibi tier list. Who has the Habibi, not the Sabra tier list, sorry.
What was
Who
I
has
looking
the Habibi tier list? I fucked it up. There's been so many things that I literally forgot what took place. There's been years and years of this shit. So I apologize. Yes, it was who has the Habibi pass, okay? And Sabra hummus was the lowest tier. Ethan claimed that was actually about Jews, that like Jews were the lowest tier. Sabra hummus is universally recognized as dog shit hummus, okay?
Like, by the way, okay, Snarker tactics. Okay, pay attention. What Snarker tactic is Hasan using here? If you've been paying attention, remember. Okay, one of the biggest Snarker tactics is gaslighting. Okay, gaslighting. All right, gaslighting. Okay.
I cannot believe that.
And again, okay, just want to clarify. This is Mon and Bailey, right? Right, Mon and Bailey, right? We talked about this before. I've talked about how Mon and Bailey worked before, right? This is Mon and Bailey. Mon and Bailey, right? Right, guys? Right, guys? Right, guys? Right, guys? Right, guys? Mon and Bailey? Mon and Bailey?
Created such tremendous controversy.
On the H3 podcast for months on end, Ethan would go live and vent his frustrations with Triller and Kavanaugh dozens of times over the course of the next several months. But the attacking quickly started to veer into pretty weird territory. Ethan became quite fixated on Ryan's ex-wife, for instance, and he'd routinely do bits on the show about her and her new husband, including detailed descriptions of their hypothetical sexual activity.
Yeah, those bans were double the length of Asmongold's ban that Asmongold received for saying Palestinians are from an inferior culture and deserve genocide.
Look how big the bowl is. Probably plows the shit out of her, dude. Brad fucking rails her hard. Imagine getting railed by that, dude. Your wife is getting railed by a giant fucking Israeli dude with jacked huge Jewish cock, and your wife loves it. So you stand in the closet and listen as your dick is.
What?
While we're here, I think it's worth noting that Ryan separated from his
Jesus.
ex-wife in 2020, a year before the lawsuit was even filed. So she and her new husband had absolutely nothing to do with it. But Ethan and his
What the
community had
fuck?
no hesitation in involving her in their smear campaign against her former husband. And when I say involved, I mean directly. The incessant mentioning of Kavanaugh's ex-wife led H3 fans to start brigading her and her new husband's
What?
Instagram page, where they left tons of very weird and
Okay.
hypersexual comments.
I was probably getting 20 to 30,000 death threats. He started telling them to go after my ex-wife, who's my best friend and mother of my child. She was getting death threats. They were just, I mean, it was to the point where I couldn't ignore it anymore.
And again, these two were not involved in the lawsuit in any way whatsoever. But not only that, Kavanaugh himself claims to have had almost nothing to do with it personally.
And it went after, I don't know, 5 or 6 sites. I kind of wasn't involved. I just, they were doing it. And then one day, someone called me and said, this guy's like just trashing on you on his podcast. I'm like, I've never heard of this guy. Why would you be doing that? And they're like, they say you're suing him. I'm like, I've never heard of him. Why would I sue him? Needless to say, I kind of ignored it. And then over the next month,
What is the true story behind this? Because I would. Okay, by the way, okay, I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised if Ethan Klein did something like this because he is himself. Okay, like he does blatant shit like this. To be fair, like he does actually do blatant shit like this. So I'm not trying to apologize for his behavior. Okay, in case he did do something wrong. Okay, I'm just
they're
saying.
like, this guy's done like 30 podcasts like this. And then it was like 50.
Yeah.
Ethan and the H3 crew even went so far as making an entire
By the way, maybe more Pegaslop should be worried, actually. Because Ryan won that. Does this behavior remind you of anybody else? Perhaps someone living in the beautiful nation state of Singapore, the crown jewel of the world.
What?
And Pegasus? More Pegaslop?
Oh, the person who farms Hasan to the death. Jesus. Yeah, that person farms way too hard. Oh, like nah. I think that's fair.
Just saying.
You know what? Farm your shit, King.
Get the
okay,
cane out,
farm your
boys.
shit.
website dedicated to comparing
Army
Kavanaugh
shit.
to convicted rapist Harvey Weinstein.
Or a website about Ryan Kavanaugh.
Does Ryan Kavanaugh look like Harvey Weinstein?
Oh, that's the one.
To date, Ryan Kavanaugh's been mentioned on the H3.
Are you still fearful of your life because of Pegasus? Always. Every day. Every day I wake up terrified in a cold sweat, thinking about all of the real threats to my life and safety born out of more Pegaslop and his commentary.
It's kind of hard to reach Hasan IRL because he's hiding behind like 5 locked gates and like 10 locked doors, okay? An entire courtyard in his mansion. All right, I'm just saying.
Which is slanderous.
Keep on going, okay?
Libelous.
I guess.
Smears. But yeah, I mean, the hyperfixation is insane, right? Like,
Uh-huh.
what I don't understand is like how people don't recognize that as like someone having a mental health episode.
Oh, yeah, by the way, yes, this is also something that the Snarkers do, right? The Snarkers also, okay, the Snarkers also will, oh, Lilith, hi, hey. But yeah, the Snarkers will also go out of their way to gaslight you about your mental health, okay? Mental health gaslighting is also very important.
156 different episodes, many of which came after Ryan retaliated against them by filing a defamation suit against Ethan. That case specifically cited comments that Ethan repeatedly made about Ryan's business operating as a Ponzi scheme, which Ethan sourced from a 2019 article from Variety. The issue there is that Variety had amended this article within 24 hours after it was posted, including a full retraction from the original person who called Ryan's business a Ponzi scheme. Now, it seems like this case was ultimately settled outside of court, but Ethan was forced to issue an on-stream apology after the court rejected his motion to dismiss the case, finding that he had been aware of the retraction, but repeatedly
Just by the way, okay, whatever shit Kilo is digging up on Ethan Klein here, I'm almost 100% certain. No, I'm just 100% certain that all the things that Hasan has done on his stream is far worse. Okay? I'm just saying, okay? I don't know why the fuck Kilo thinks it's a good idea to bring up any of this when, again, right, the comparison here is that this is a person who is going against Hasan, right? It's like this person versus Hasan. That's the entire point. The entire point is, okay, who is better? Who is not better? I don't know, right? So it's just kind of funny again that people will that's what people do. What can I say?
restated the false assertion anyway over the following months.
You're a liar. You lie.
I skipped some of the crazier details about this story, like how Ethan supposedly paid editors to constantly monitor Kavanaugh's Wikipedia page and insert more negative information about
I
him.
said I won this lawsuit against the guy who propagated it and who's paying to have all these editors do this. The appeal will be held this summer and he'll have to take it all down. We went to a mediation and he agreed to even do it, which is why I know I already knew he controlled it, but he admitted it.
By the way, even if you think Trisha is a crazy person, or
would you say that more Pegasus's videos make you feel unsafe to do business in the great nation of Singapore? Yes. Yes. I am. As many know, I'm a big businessman and I love doing business. I love doing big business deals, especially, you know what I like? I like that Singapore has been a shining beacon of prosperity and a light in an otherwise dark world. Okay? That's what I like about Singapore. When I think about Singapore, I think about straits that numerous oil tankers and numerous commerce flows through. And I think about the multiple ports that the beautiful nation state of Singapore has. Okay? I think about opening all straits, including the Strait of Hormuz. Okay?
Oh my God. What?
Singapore comes to me in my dreams. Did you know that? Singapore
I don't get this humor.
comes to me in my dreams. I dream of a better future. One where Singapore is the leader of international commerce. And then I wake up.
This is definitely sarcastic, right? Because Singapore has a lot of issues, right? That's the joke, right? The joke is that Singapore has a lot of issues.
Up and I realize Singapore already is the leader of international commerce and shipping. That's right. But unfortunately, what makes things so sad is that I can never go there. I can never go there and conduct business. And the reason for why is because of one man and one man only. More Pegasus in his YouTube channel have made it so that the billions of dollars of trade.
He's so funny, guys. Guys, isn't Hasan just such a riot? Such a riot, lol.
That I would like to conduct in Singapore.
He's so funny, guys. Oh my
is
God.
one that I have to.
Oh Lord.
Forego.
Goodness me.
I close my eyes and I think
losing my
about
shit.
Lee Kuan Yew, that brilliant man who also loved Deng Xiaoping. That's what I think about.
What?
Yeah.
Also, by the way, he's still not pronouncing any of this correctly. It's Deng Xiaoping. You know, for somebody who is so avid about China, I can't help but notice that he's still not using any of the proper pronunciation of any of the Chinese words or names that he talks about. And somehow I know more than him when it comes to pronunciation because my parents talked about it when I was a kid. But good memes, okay? Good memes.
All of these things could be solved.
Okay.
If the Singaporean government took action against one of their biggest criminals, more Pegasus.
Pepe posting here? Fed posting maybe?
What does Singapore like more than anything else? Improving their GDP.
Who knows?
How could they do this? If I did business in the nation state of Singapore. One might call it a city state. I call it a nation state.
Okay. You're very funny.
I'm in a suit. That's how you know I'm a businessman who likes conducting big business deals, specifically in the country of Singapore.
You're very cringe.
The most reliable nation state.
You're
all
so
of my
cringe, dude.
finances,
You're
instead
so
of taking
cringe.
them over to the tax haven of Dubai,
You're so
I want
cringe,
to
my
take
man.
them to Singapore, but I can't because I'm in fear of my life and safety. Something to think about.
But Ryan Kavanaugh's an asshole. Ethan has still shown that he's willing.
I laughed so hard, guys. I laughed so hard. I have never guffawed harder in my life, okay? Truly, this is the pinnacle of humor, okay? Leftist memes be like an entire fucking wall of text and incomprehensible bullshit.
To misrepresent claims, falsely attribute things to others, and even outright defame people that he doesn't like. This guy.
What is this? Believe it or not, years ago, Pegasus used to make videos not about you all the time. I used to watch him all the time as a kid to the point I made him fan art. Oh my God.
Cute.
Kind of stuff is a favorite pastime for Ethan. He likes to jump to conclusions and just say shit about people, often with no evidence. He implied or outright suggested that Dan Clancy and Taylor Lorenz were pedophiles for like no reason. He wrongly accused the Wall Street Journal of doctoring photos and then had to walk it back, while he himself has routinely had issues with sharing fake or doctored social media posts and passing them off as real, and he's shown a willingness to contort and misrepresent events in his life whenever it suits his purposes, which is what he's doing now in his war against Reddit, Twitch, and Hasan.
The harassment that me and Eli are receiving is just genuinely unfucking comparable. Like nothing I've ever dealt with. And to the point where I don't know how it's allowed on Reddit. Like an organized harassment campaign spreading across multiple subreddits, targeting
I wonder
like,
who he's
one
talking about.
Two specific people. It's so fucked up. And once again, to remind everybody that Reddit has no problem with this community that exists solely to do the most insane, unhinged, unacceptable harassment campaigns you can possibly imagine. On the internet today, people think they can say anything they want about me. And by the way, her posting this is continuing the defamation and this whole like snark narrative that they're trying to make like mainstream. And by the way, they're part of the harassment campaign that I can't believe is so big. They're misrepresenting everything I said. They're mischaracterizing, like taking things out of context, fucking like you guys are part of that harassment campaign, you scumbags.
Ever since the Leftovers podcast ended, Ethan has spent almost 2 years trying to convince the online world that he
And then somehow he would just proceed. He would then proceed to go after one of his allies, Destiny. Bruh. Why did he even dude, that was such a bad move. Holy shit. I still can't believe he did that. I still can't believe he made that move. That was just wow. What a stupid fucking move to make. I still can't believe he made that move. And I'm not doing it because I want to fucking go after Destiny's cock. Like I'm saying it because it's such an impractical move. It's just such a, I don't know. It's just such a counterintuitive, self-detrimental move. It's just,
is the victim of a massive organized harassment campaign, which is being spearheaded
So
by Hasan
stupid.
and his surrounding network of evil harassers, or something like that. This harassment narrative itself is being pushed pretty effectively by Ethan, and he's received quite a lot of support from across the internet. So while he's been aggressively retaliating against his enemies, like his use of the legal system, to many it's understandable, or even justified. But is Ethan's narrative accurate? To answer that, let's go back to the beginning of the Ethan and Hasan feud, back in late 2023. You'll remember from earlier that one of the first major sources of tension between the two was Ethan being upset at things that Hasan's chat was saying about him.
Do you care that your chat is calling me racist? Do you make any attempt to modify?
I have not looked at my chat.
moderate that
I
at
have
all?
not looked at my chat at all.
The thing with this argument is, first of all, I don't know what Ethan expected Hasan to do about a chat that looked like this? Like, look at this shit. But more importantly, Ethan seems to not understand that you are the only person.
No, no, no. You can definitely make examples out of people. And if people are not caught, if people are not caught, then they're going to be caught eventually, right? No, no, no. I think that's bullshit. I think that's bullshit. I think that's stupid. Nah, I don't accept that narrative.
But all this is to say, Ethan isn't a fan of being criticized at all. And when he started facing a lot more negative scrutiny after October 7th, it seems like he wanted his.
Okay, just to be totally real here, okay? Does anybody like being criticized? This might be a hot take, but I think that most people don't like being criticized, okay?
To exert sweeping control over his entire audience's perception of him. And despite how unrealistic that is, Hasan still tried.
Ethan is not your enemy. You should not yell at Ethan. Ethan is my friend. He's an empathetic person. I will always.
Nah. I think a snake can wear a smile, okay?
Stand by Ethan's ability to empathize and want to learn and want to change his perspective. Changing your perspective on an issue is near and dear.
Isn't this a classic Snarker tactic? A classic Snarker tactic is to say, well, we want what's good for you. We want what's good for you. We want to see you grow. We want to see you become a better person. But then at the end of the day, they want to destroy you in the background, and they love doing concern trolling. Like, to me, at the very least, this is absolute concern trolling. And I think that Kilo knows this if he really asked himself about it. Yeah. I think that if Kilo looks at himself in the mirror for a long while, I think he would understand that this is like 100% copium. I think it's very clear that Hasan is doing concern trolling here. Just like how the Snarkers also do concern trolling in our sphere, at the very least.
Your fucking heart is virtually impossible. I will forever have respect for him for doing that on his own. You need to, as a community, also stop fucking ripping into Ethan non-stop.
But it was never quite enough for Ethan.
He genuinely hates you, bro. I know he does.
By the way, Hasan will say this, but then he wouldn't do any moderation actions, right? He doesn't even want to ban anybody who says like really awful things about Ethan Klein. Instead, it seems as though he goes out of his way in order to protect them, basically. So, yeah.
I wish him well regardless.
And eventually, Ethan declared war on all things Hasan, which brought us to where we are now. Now, what Ethan could do is he could stop reflexively defending Israel. He could stop commenting on the issue altogether. Maybe he could reflect on and internalize some of what people are telling him. Or he could change nothing and just accept that some people...
Age like milk. Yeah, no, worse age like milk moment of all time. I think my biggest strength and my biggest weakness is my predisposition towards redemption. It's my biggest strength, but nobody ever fucking recognizes it when it's successful because now we have more allies. But when it fails, oh my lord, when it fucking fails, nobody ever.
Bro, dude, Hasan actually thinks he's like the second coming of Jesus Christ, bro. Like this guy, I have actually never in my life ever seeing anybody so fucking narcissistic. Holy shit, dude. He is off the rocker, bro. He is off the rocker. Like, when I don't think I've ever seen anybody IRL say anything like this. It's like you're going to a job interview. It's like you're going to a job interview and they're like, do you have any flaws? And you're like, yeah, I work too hard.
Ever lets it go. I will never stop being charitable to people regardless until someone is shown that they are irredeemable. And I think a lot of people have a very different standard for what it is to be irredeemable. I have a much greater bandwidth for that. Okay. I'm never going to stop being charitable to people because I know for a fact that this community wouldn't be what it is.
Dude. Oh my God. Dude, this guy is the person who literally comes up with like new fucking nicknames for Steven every single time he brings him up. It's like, oh, Sex Pestiny, okay? Didstiny or whatever the fuck. Like, yeah, like Diddy Dan and shit like that. Like, this guy is the guy. He is the guy that makes up all these fucking MAGA tier nicknames for everybody. How charitable is he towards Steven? I wonder. It's just...
If I stopped doing that, if I engaged in like demands for purity, things of that nature. But, you know, I do recognize it, okay? I do recognize it. I come across as stupid sometimes. I have been played a fool. I know. Aiden Ross, XQC, Ethan Klein.
Bro. This is like Ozymandias from like The Watchmen. He has like a fucking savior and a god complex. Dude,
you know, there are plenty of content creators that I have been endlessly charitable to. Hope that I could change them. Hope that I could change their minds.
Dude.
You know?
What the fuck? Oh,
I'm going to keep doing that. I'm going to keep doing that because I hope that everyone can change their mind.
And then you have everybody in Hasan's chat fucking glazing him. Bro, you can tell Hasan lives for this shit, dude. You can tell Hasan is like taking it all in. He's like giddy. He's literally giddy off of like the validation that he's receiving. Bro is literally the leftist version of Homelander. Yeah, I think that's an apt comparison. I think Hasan is just Homelander. His personality is exactly like Homelander's, yeah. He's addicted to attention. He is super insecure about how he appears to other people. And he can probably pull off a cosplay of Homelander. So
One day. I believe that. I sincerely.
He does have a god complex, unironically. He thinks that he's so important that Kamala Harris should go onto his show.
I believe that.
Dude.
People on the internet are going to have a problem with it. But of course, he hasn't done any of these things. Ethan has instead chosen to lie. He's built this myth of a mass harassment campaign against him, and he's using this lie to try to financially harm Twitch, change Reddit policy, and abuse.
Hey, Hasan, does more Pegasus videos of intense bullying and harassment ever cause you not to eat and lose sleep? All the time. Thank you for asking. All the time. Yeah, it's real. All the time. And worst of all, this is a fairly large community of business-minded individuals, as you know. A fairly large community of business-minded individuals who are titans in their own might, in their own right, across numerous sectors. And interestingly enough, most of it revolving around logistics and shit.
Dude, the reason why Hasan has to bring up more Pegasus is probably because he doesn't know how to fight the other people. I think more Pegasus is probably enough of a clown, so then Hasan can go after him. But I think that with anybody else, he's just unable to go after them. Like, for example, the moment that it comes to Ethan Klein or Destiny, he just freaks out and crashes out. So yeah, pretty good memes. Okay.
And ports. And so it's not just about me wanting to no longer do business in the beautiful nation state of Singapore because I'm genuinely fearful for my safety and security.
Also, for some reason, Hasan thinks he's like the funniest person in the world when he brings up Singapore and more Pegasus. I just don't understand this joke. Okay, like whatever this is, I just don't get it. I don't get it. Okay, I just don't get it. This is not funny to me. I don't get it, and this is gay. Okay,
but it's also this entire community designed around shipping, international shipping and commerce. A lot of importers and exporters.
Bro, leftist memes be like
that also probably feel a sense of reluctance utilizing Singaporean ports as a direct consequence of the insecurity that they feel about more Pegasus's YouTube videos and harassment, mass harassment. Remember, I wear suits and everyone in my audience also does that as well. And it's a sign of someone who's invested in the...
Dude, people are putting like Keck W's. People are putting Keck W's in like the fucking Hasan chat, dude. Like, what the fuck? What? Like, please. I actually want to see a Hasan fan IRL. Okay? Actually, no. I have seen a Hasan fan IRL before. Oh my god, dude. I just want to see a Hasan fan IRL. I just want to know. I want to know. I want to know what you're like. I want to know. I want to know what your personality is like, little bro. Okay? I want to know. Oh, dude. Fuck me, dude.
Import-export industry and the import-export field.
Like, what kind of personality do you have in order to find this funny? I just don't get it. It's like, what kind of personality do you think you have to have?
Field.
Dude.
Did you say logistics? I'm working out some deals with the Port of Singapore right now. Wow, I didn't realize your stream was so business-minded. Yeah. Norway scored a goal. Goddamn. Yeah, this is Maersk executives. Most of us.
Dude.
Some in the shipping industry, specifically for insurance. Why else would we cover the comings and goings of the Strait of Hormuz so aggressively? Why else would we monitor the situation almost on a daily basis? It's because we, as a community, care about the opening of all straits. We care about the free flow of commerce.
The core system against the people that he holds responsible for his decline in popularity. The three main things that Ethan's been dishonest about are H3 Snark, the CPS call, and the copyright lawsuits. Let's start with Snark. After the leftovers ended, the growing rift between Ethan and Hasan's communities sparked increased activity on the H3.
Also, by the way, okay, even though a lot of snarking communities are not really intersecting with one another all that much, like for example, I don't think the Hasan snark community intersect with the anti-Destiny snark community all that much, right? Like I wouldn't draw an association there. I don't think there's enough evidence to draw like more of association. Now, if you want to draw the connection between the anti-Destiny community versus Kiwi farms, I think you can draw like a one-to-one correlation there. I think it's perfect. I think it's like an almost perfect circle, basically. Okay, I think you can make that argument. But just notice how just because you're a snarker from another community doesn't mean that you're not going to defend other snarkers, right? Because something that's really interesting to me is how the anti-Destiny snarkers also would go out of their way to defend Hasan and defend Hasan's snarker community, right? So snarkers will always back up other snarkers, even though they're completely anonymous to one another, because when they gain ground, right, in one community, that is a victory for all snarkers, okay? You have to keep that part in mind, all right? When they defend a snarker from another community, okay, or they defend a snarking incident from another community, it's a victory for all snarkers, okay? That's just how it works, right?
Snark subreddit. For those of you that don't know what Snark means, here's a quick overview. Snark communities are online groups dedicated to sharing negative or critical content about a figure that the group is centered around. That's it. They're basically just groups of people who dislike an influencer or a public figure, and they talk shit about them, laugh about.
Yeah, but then the thing is that Kilo here is referring to like the Wikipedia definition, but the way that we use the word snarker, I don't think it's to that specific definition. Again, this is like kind of like an appeal to authority, where what you're essentially trying to do is that you're trying to dumb down a word only to its dictionary definition, when the very nature of a word when it comes to linguistics is so much more complicated. It is just straight up so much more complicated. What I mean is that, again, it is like the emotions that a word will evoke, right? If a word evokes emotions or feelings in a specific way, yeah, that's just how it is. Okay, that's just, yeah.
Them, criticize them. That's all it is. H3 has had their own Snark community since early in 2023, but as Ethan's content became more political and as the feud with Hasan began, it gradually started growing in popularity.
Because, like, for example, right, if I say SA, right, sexual A, right, what people will think of is they'll think of rape, right? Like, people will automatically think of rape when you describe SA, even though SA technically could be any kind of physical assault towards anybody that has like a sexual nature to it, right? That's what sexual assault refers to, like a physical contact, at least, right? That has to refer to in a sexual nature where, you know, only one part, the other party does not consent. That's what sexual assault, if you really want to go by some kind of dictionary definition, you can go by that, right? But if you call somebody a SAer, right, you're just calling them a rapist, right? Like, does anybody ever think like, oh, this is like the, this specific definition is used for this specific, I mean, we all use everything colloquially, right? Why do they call the Destiny space the Destiny rape machine? Why do they call it that? Because it evokes the right emotions. Because it evokes the right emotions, right? Just like, to me at the very least, the Snarker community definition is just not, like, to dumb it down to its definition is just basically, like, stupid. Yeah. Also, no. I shouldn't say stupid. I would say it's malicious. I would say it's malicious. I would say it's bad faith. I would say it's evil, actually. Yeah.
Now, it should be noted that most of these places, especially on Reddit, have strict rules against crossing the line. They typically moderate against posts that encourage or facilitate harassment, such as doxing, and the ones that don't usually don't last very long on the platform. You can always find psycho people who engage in poor behavior in literally any online community, even fan ones, but this doesn't mean the community itself is an issue. For this reason, as a concept, Snark seems mostly harmless, but Ethan doesn't see it this way, and even since before the leftovers ended, Ethan has taken.
No, that's not true. The way that Snark works is that Snark will Snark provides the validation and justification, soft justification for crazier behaviors that cannot be easily tracked, like doxing, swatting, harassing people's family members, calling someone's phone, calling people at work, right? All of these things are things that are not easily tracked, right? However, the people who actually do these heinous things are people who get their validation and the reasons for the movement and the radicalization from the people who are more of the front-facing snarkers, who are more of, you know, the crowd where Denims resides, J-Stoke resides, Queenman resides, right? They don't have to get any of their own hands dirty because they know that other people will do it for them. And, you know, I think on the inside, if you hold a gun to someone's head and you go like, you better tell the truth or I'm going to pull the trigger, right? Tell me what the truth is for you. Like, tell me what you truly feel about the situation. I think all of them, without the shadow of a doubt, I think all of them know that their commentary contributes to some degree of IRL harassment. I think they all would say yes. I think all of them would say yes. Not a single one of them would deny it. Because that's how much I believe that they know exactly what they're doing. Because I think that if they ever gave it enough thought, I think it's pretty obvious. It's pretty obvious that not everything, criticism and stalking online does not exist in a vacuum, right? Like, this kind of stuff does not exist in a vacuum. The way that it exists is that everything is interconnected, right? And some things have closer connections to one another than other things, right? Just like snarking and IRL harassment are closer connected to each other than snarking and actual real constructive critique. Because if you take a look at real constructive critique, I don't think it'll look like snarking. None of that will look like snarking. Literally none of that will look like snarking. I think there's a Huge difference between these two.
A massive issue with his own Snark community, and he essentially considers them to be headquarters of the harassment campaign that he believes he's facing.
H3 Snark, which is a subreddit dedicated to not even like feedback, like just blatant fucking horrific harassment and like defamation.
So what exactly is Ethan referring to when he talks about this organized harassment and defamation campaign? Honestly, it's a little difficult to say. Ethan's been historically pretty non-specific in his complaints about Snark, but he has on occasion pointed out a few hard examples. So let's look at some of those. So here's a post from a little over a year ago, speculating that Teddy Fresh, the client's clothing brand, potentially plagiarized the design of a new release, because in addition to the visual similarities, the senior designer for Teddy Fresh previously liked the post from the designer they're alleged to have stolen from. Here's Ethan talking about this post on stream.
On the Snark subreddit, the top post right now is dedicated.
Also, what the fuck is... Bro, what is Hasan doing? Wait, is Hasan chewing his fingernails? I think Hasan's chewing his fingernails, bro. Oh, that's nasty. Dude, he's chewing his fingernails like Mike from PA. Like Mike from PA doing the hand-wringing thing after the Bad Bunny touch. Oh.
To identifying and harassing non-public Teddy Fresh employees. We have no recourse. Like, this is not okay what's happening. I don't know how Reddit allows this. I really don't. It's fucking sickening.
Okay, so Ethan claims this post is dedicated to identifying and harassing non-public Teddy Fresh employees. But the problem is this person did have senior designer at Teddy Fresh in their public Instagram bio. Teddy Fresh also routinely posts about their designers, including their names, in their own Instagram posts. And Ethan Klein has posted this person on her own.
There's secret society of haters. Well, more than just haters, right? These are people who are like very mentally ill, or they don't have much going on in their lives, so then they dedicate their entire life essentially to hating on one specific person. That's essentially what they're doing. Yeah.
YouTube channel, including naming them and introducing them as a designer at Teddy Fresh.
Hello, I'm Sean. I'm resident senior designer at Teddy Fresh.
The H3 crew seemed to be under the impression that this post was a dox, by the way, because the document they compiled on it was titled Snark Docs. But based on what I can see, this poster wasn't trying to identify anybody. Motherfucker, you guys are the ones that identified them.
It's not a lie, if you believe.
And furthermore, Ethan is shocked that Reddit allows this post, calling it...
No, like, again, this is again, right? They know exactly what they're doing, right? Because when somebody is, this happens every single time, because whenever a snarker out there does the doxing, instead the front-facing people will say, well, that wasn't gonna be a confirmed dox until you verify the dox, right? That is basically the excuse that they will always go to. The excuse that they will always go to is, well, you know, nobody knew that was the actual dox until you confirmed it. Like, if you say, for example, okay, let's just say you have snarkers after you, and then a snarker doxed you, okay, and then you go, okay, guys, I got doxed. My entire information is out there. Just letting you guys know, that's pretty crazy, okay? Now the snarkers will move the goalpost and say, well, I mean, some lunatic doxed you, but you're the one who decided to stream about your dox, and you're the one who spoke up about it, so therefore you're confirming your dox, right? You're basically confirming that, oh yeah, your dox exists, or somebody else's dox exists, and you're encouraging them to go there, right? Yeah, that's obviously retarded, right? That's obviously a cover for, the activities that they actually want to do, right?
Targeted harassment. But how exactly is an accusation of wrongdoing by itself harassment? There's no call to action, there's no threat, there's no invasion of privacy. It's literally just a few photos and evidence for their claim. Surely Ethan doesn't consider it to be harassment to accuse somebody of plagiarism, right? There's this video, apparently by a former H3 Snark moderator, supposedly exposing the harassment the community engages in. And some of the examples they list are like, just listen.
The Snarkers would... If any of you are currently regularly posting or consuming a community that's based around negative interest in something is unhealthy, being obsessed with things is fine, being negatively obsessed with things you don't like is one of the worst things you can do for your mental health, yes. For example, this community is positively obsessed with shipping and shipping routes, specifically around Singapore. This community is obsessed with logistics. This community is obsessed with commerce, free flow, and free trade all across the planet, okay? And as a community obsessed with the Singapore imports, we hate what More Pegasus has done to tarnish the good reputation of the beautiful nation state of Singapore. Just saying.
Compose drawings of crew members for the purpose of everyone else in the live chat to make fun of them.
If somebody needs to explain to me what's so funny about that, I just don't get it. Maybe my sense of humor is broken. Maybe I'm just not big-brained enough to get leftist jokes. But I literally do not understand this. I do not understand this in any way whatsoever.
But the thing that stuck out to me from the times I was looking at the H3 Snark live chat, that they really, really, really hate Zach. Whenever Zach was on screen, the H3 Snark chat would go crazy and comment about how ugly Zach is.
Drawings? People calling Zach ugly? Oh my god, we need to do something about this. Oh, and by
No, if somebody just simply said, oh yeah, I think there's a massive difference between somebody bringing up out of nowhere and dedicating their entire life to, oh yeah, Zach is ugly, right? I don't even know who Zach is. It doesn't even matter, okay? The snarkers are one and the same, no matter where their community is and how they do things, right? The difference between a snarker and somebody saying mean things or critiques or something like that, right? Like basically insulting someone's appearance, is that a snarker will bring it up out of thin air. That's it. A snarker will spend a significant amount of their life obsessing over one particular person that they have never met IRL, and they'll obsess over their looks. They'll obsess over, everything that they are. That is the big difference. But for somebody who is like a regular, well-adjusted person, somebody who just gives constructive criticism, they're either attacking someone's opinions, not their looks, and they're not like obsessively trying to ruin someone's life, essentially, or trying to get them to notice them and stuff. Snarkers take a very active role in the person they're snarking's life. That's just how they work. That's it.
The way Ethan fully endorses this video.
An ex-Snarker made a video about the Snark subreddit that I thought was wonderful. This all took place on Reddit's platform. They have a live chat feature that during every show they would open up where they would engage in targeted, relentless harassment against all of us. I'm very grateful to this person. People don't understand the forces that I'm dealing with, of how fucking disgustingly evil these people are.
So look, if you scroll through the H3 Snark page, you'll see posts that are making fun of things Ethan has said, sometimes clipping something from a recent stream. Here's a post just sharing something Hasan said about Ethan. This subreddit is like 99% just posts like this. So I'm not saying there's never been a post here that could qualify as harassment, but if for Ethan things like laughing at drawings does qualify, it makes me seriously question his judgment of the severity of what's happening here. Moving on, another part of Ethan's claim is that this community is defaming him and his business, and Ethan really doesn't like defamation.
This is defamation, right? No, defamation. I'm literally going to sue you for defamation. Oh.
But this part is even harder to evaluate because Ethan is even less specific about the defamation. He tends to just generally kind of whine about defamation and slander, and rarely, if ever, provides any specific examples of it.
These are like 3 huge fucking communities that are posting about me and Hila every fucking day. Fucking relentless slander, straight up lies, defamation.
One of the only times I could find him providing actual evidence was this infamous Ramadan post, which contained a lie that the H3
Or maybe more Pegasus is supposed to be fat and literally blocking the Singapore trait straight. Is that what the insult is? Is that he's fat? I mean, that's not very progressive, right? I thought Hasan was supposed to be progressive.
Subreddit was removing posts celebrating Ramadan. Ethan was understandably pretty upset about this, but when you look into what actually happened here, it seems likely that this example of defamation just doesn't really mean much of anything. According to the moderators of the subreddit, the post was originally made by like a rogue mod on an alt account, and once they found out that it was false, they deleted the post, demodded the user, and updated their rules to have higher standards. So one user on a popular forum maliciously spread misinformation, was caught, got punished, and then the owners took steps to try to prevent it from happening again. So this just...
Yeah, but then they'll always have their fall guy, right? Like, for example, the Snark community cast away Nicandros and Shamu, right? In order to avoid any kind of guilty association with these people, right? This isn't anything new. This has happened since the beginning of time. Whenever an assassination attempt fails, or whenever some kind of plan goes awry, something bad happened, and they need to take a fall guy, they will take a fall guy. They'll have somebody be the fall guy. That person will take the fall, and they'll drop out of orbit. Okay, and yeah, they are used to using human shields like that, basically. They need a person to take the fall. Okay, they need a person to take the fall. These are like, by the way, these are all like very basic things I'm explaining to you guys. None of this should be complicated. None of this is complicated. None of this is weird or anything like that. These are all very, very simple concepts that I feel like are very easily explainable to people. Like, oh, the idea of a fall guy, game theory, the way that plausible deniability works, right? All of these things are easy to understand concepts. Okay, all of these snarkers are they have all the same tactics, right? They have all the same tactics. That's just how it works. Shamu was streaming today. He had 200 viewers. Yeah, because I think it was Quayman who said no more brother wars. Basically, he's like saying no more infighting, or at least no more criticism or something. Basically, like, yeah, like Shamu still gets all the Shamu still gets all the fucking backing, despite the fact that Chud has essentially disavowed him, right? So they had a fall guy, the fall guy happened, but then, you know, they're still obviously supporting him in the background. But
isn't indicative of any systemic or coordinated misconduct. This is just called the internet. Plus, it seems like this should be how you'd want a place like this to be moderated. They have rules against misinformation, and they do enforce them. Like, if you go search through the subreddit, you can find hundreds of examples of the moderators telling the subreddit not to contact sponsors, to respect people's privacy, marking certain posts as being satirical.
I'm an executive chef, and I was thinking about opening up 10 restaurants in Singapore, but after everything you've been saying, I don't know if I should anymore. Well, I still love Singapore. I'm just, you know, it feels like more Pegasus is just showing a very different side to Singapore, you know? Don't give up on Singapore's beauty, and don't give up on serving as an executive chef the great people of Singapore minus more Pegasus, right? Misinformation, incorrect data entry like that boils my logistics industry blood.
All things that point to them actually trying to prevent harassment and defamation. Like with any popular forum, some stuff might occasionally slip through the cracks, but this stuff would be outliers. It's quite obviously not the purpose of this community. So Ethan's claims that this place exists solely to conduct an organized harassment campaign against him are at best flimsy, and at worst, kind of bullshit. But there's one more thing Ethan has shown, and it's this screenshot he shared from Discord of supposedly a moderator of H3 Snark sharing the address of the H3 and Teddy Fresh studios. Now, if this is exactly how Ethan describes it, it could be an issue. But this looks like a private DM, not a public Discord server. There's no information about who this was sent to, whether this person is still a moderator, whether they even ever were a moderator, or whether any of the other mods knew about it. So I kind of just don't really know what I'm looking at here. Without more context, this just isn't evidence of organized, coordinated harassment. This could be nothing more than just one person doing something wrong, which again can happen in any large online community. So look, my perception of what's happened here is that Ethan conflates harassment with unwanted negative scrutiny, and he might even conflate slander with
yeah, but like how okay, so the question I would probably ask in the debate is, how would you differentiate between like online stalking and just simply critique, right? Like, for example, if I don't even know if Nicholas D'Angelo, Nick D'Angelo, not Diorio, but like, fuck, because I think it's so obvious. I think it's so obvious when someone is just simply levying criticism versus someone is doing the snarking. But again, what the snarkers will do is that they'll always try to conflate the two, right? They'll always conflate the two. Always. They'll say that these two things are exactly the same thing. That's stupid, okay? That's just retarded. Yeah.
He disagrees with. 99.9% of the users here are just talking, making jokes, criticizing him, voicing their opinions. Some of them may say things that are untrue or even cruel. But dude, that's what the internet is. H3 has millions of subscribers. At a certain point, you can't control what everyone says or thinks about you.
You know, you should tell that to Hasan, because Hasan literally cannot handle any kind of snarking that comes his way, okay? D'Angelo Wallace, my bad.
So as far as I can tell, Ethan just isn't the victim of anything unique here. But obviously he disagrees.
Bro, why do you keep talking about Pegasus in Singapore? I literally never heard of this guy. Ha ha ha.
Bro, okay, look. Ethan is 100% a victim, and if you don't believe that, you are either retarded or malicious, okay? I just want to say that. I think that's pretty clear-cut, in my opinion, but hey, what can I say?
Someone explain, please, why it's not keep talking. We're joking. It's called memes, okay? That's what we're doing. But what's not a meme is our love for shipping, commerce, and logistics. What's not a meme and not a joke is art. Look at the suit. What does the suit tell you? That I'm a business guy, okay? I'm a numbers guy, and I really like doing numbers, specifically in the beautiful nation state of Singapore, okay? Are you confused about the passion that this community has for doing business in Singapore and its ports and the opening of straits and making sure that free flow of commerce transits through the Strait of Malacca, for example? Because that's a fixture of this community. This is a community that is designed around
Not great, Bob.
trade routes.
And his response to these insults, to criticism, and to this one lie that was ultimately removed was declaring all-out war on Reddit and H3 Snark.
And it's just fucking disgusting. Like, Reddit, you are disgusting. Fucking shame on you. The CEO, the officers,
Yeah, he also didn't he also want to do like a Laura Loomer style situation where he was gonna like lock himself up to chain himself to like Reddit headquarters or something in the same way that like Laura Loomer chained herself to the door of Twitter.
But who's in this company is 100% liable for everything that's happening on all these Snark subreddits.
He started by going to Reddit and complaining about Snark numerous times, demanding that they take action against the subreddit.
And I've tried to notify Reddit, and they just don't fucking care. We reported it, and we were trying to contact someone at Reddit. I've gone through every avenue possible with Reddit. If this doesn't get taken care of, then I'm going.
Biggest knee slapper since Crimean River. Sure, yeah, dude. That isn't even from him. That's a tinky joke. That's a tinky joke because they're pro-Russia, anti-Ukraine. So like obviously they're gonna say Crimea River. Like that's not even from Hasan. He didn't even.
I have to start holding Reddit accountable.
Just notice that when Hasan actually tries to make jokes on his own, the best he could come up with is more Pegasus Singaporean ports and straits and keeping that pass open. Literally nobody from the outside can ever get the joke. Nobody on the inside. I don't even know if anybody from the inside can even get the joke. It's just obviously like a fucking retarded joke that nobody laughs at. It's not funny, right? This is what happens when Hasan tries to come up with his own jokes. He's just straight up not good at it.
Which led to quite a lot of whining from Ethan when they chose not to do anything.
The whole Snark phenomenon is so pathetic that Reddit
Yeah,
allows
he
this shit to continue. This is
thinks
another
it's so
reason why I
funny.
just cannot fucking believe that Reddit doesn't react. It's so fucked up that Reddit allows this and doesn't do anything.
But Ethan did eventually hear back from Reddit, although he wasn't very pleased with what they had to say.
We got a hold of someone at Reddit, and we told them about all the Snark stuff. It was a comms person, and they got back to us, and they said, well, you guys are harassing people also. You're...
That was the funniest thing. Dude, Reddit was like, dog, have you seen your subreddit? It's literally entirely dedicated to this fucking one person. Or not even one person, but like everyone that has ever, in your mind, wronged you in any capacity. Any criticisms of you is any criticism.
I don't think any like fucking normie will be able to make the differentiation between snarking and criticism, because the entire point of snarking, like a very good tactic of snarking, is that they are unable, they basically try to make it as palatable to the normie as possible while doing the most unhinged shit in the background. Okay, they'll always paint it as just, okay, well, it's just criticism. It's just people saying cruel things. It's just how the internet works. And they'll always go like, but aren't you guys doing it back? For example, among the anti-Destiny snarkers, right? Like people always bring up how Dan Saltman is also doing the snarking and doing the doxing and doing the weird harassment shit, right? Notice how they will always do the whataboutism, and they will always do the, oh, what about you? What about you? What about you thing back, right? Why do you think they do that? They do that because they want to at least paint it as equivalent. Because if they're able to paint it as equivalent, then they are able to get away with a lot of things when other people are coming in from the outside and asking questions, right? But yeah, anyway, yeah, that's just something notable. Okay.
Some of you turns into this subreddit being utilized as a vehicle of endless harassment and enmity.
harassing people and they're harassing people, so I don't see the difference between your community and their community.
And while it would be really funny if Reddit actually said that to him, I highly doubt that that's what Ethan was told. I imagine he was told something more like, this community is totally fine. They're not doing anything different than your own is. But this is where things started getting a little weird. Ethan didn't just disagree with Reddit's decisions. He started claiming that Reddit was conspiring against him to protect Snark.
I believe that Reddit is colluding with the moderators of the Snark community and actively protecting it.
And to his credit, I'm sure that Ethan really was on the verge of cracking this thing wide open.
Twitch has been ideologically captured, and the people in that company are using their terms of service selectively as a form of activism. And I feel that I'm getting the same treatment now from Reddit. Did you know that these two companies in San Francisco, their headquarters are blocks away from each other? It's just interesting. It's just interesting because it shows there's some culture happening in this tech space. I think that these people are all very similar-minded. I think that's what this is telling me.
Right. But somehow this airtight narrative didn't gain quite as much traction as Ethan would like. So he started being somewhat openly dishonest about it. For instance, when Adam McIntyre's Snark community got taken down by Reddit, allegedly due to behaviors similar to the H3 Snark.
I think that there might actually, this is one of these things where you just can't prove it. Like you suspect something is happening, but you can't prove it. I will say you shouldn't be resting on the laurels of that argument for too long. Okay, you shouldn't. Because ultimately, if you don't have any like proof behind it, like solid proof, just like how in the Twitch headquarters code base, it says specifically to block everything from Israel, right? Oh yeah, nobody from Israel is allowed to sign up or anything like that. Like that is proper solid evidence, right? Like that is very, very solid, proper evidence, right? I think for something like this, you should not be drawing conjectures. But at the same time, you have to note something, okay, is that the Snarkers themselves are also making conspiracy theories all the fucking time, right? How many times have they said that Owlish was like secretly banging Wick, right? Yeah, like these are all the same tactics. These are every single one of these same tactics. It's rules for thee, but not for me, right? Yeah.
Page. Ethan took it as proof that Reddit is conspiring against him, but he prefers to just disregard the known fact that Adam's page didn't get removed due to any alleged behaviors.
And this is actually exactly why when you see somebody from your own side making conspiracy theories about the Snarkers, I don't think you should ever stop them. I think it's morally good to let them conspiracize about the Snarkers all they want, because I think that's fair. I think that's tit for tat. I think that's very fair game. I think that you should do exactly what they do. Okay?
But rather because it was completely unmoderated, whereas H3 Snark has always had active moderators. Ethan is aware of this, by the way. He just chooses to believe something else.
It's hard for him to be honest. He lies a lot. He does.
In fact, there are often pretty decent explanations for why things on Reddit haven't gone Ethan's way. But rather than opening his eyes, everything only leads him to further believe that Reddit leadership must be Snarkers themselves. That's right, it's a big Reddit conspiracy to harass Ethan Klein. That is literally what he believes.
I know that it's likely that one of the admins who's being paid by Reddit is participating and protecting it.
Ethan also started claiming that the coordination and organized harassment actually just happens in Discord servers, which is why you won't find it on the subreddit itself.
These fucking freaks that are in a Discord sharing on all these things. These people can sign up without any info of their account. Most of their activities happening on Discord.
And it's kind of weird that he'd go that route anyway, because somehow Reddit is complicit in something truly horrific here, but simultaneously none of it is actually happening on Reddit. It's all happening somewhere else. But despite not having very much evidence, Ethan remained incredibly determined to push this harassment narrative. So determined, in fact, that he made the very classy decision to appropriate a woman's suicide to further his agenda against Snark. Michaela Raines, also known as Fox, took her own life back in June of last year, and Ethan, within 24 hours of it being announced, ran to Instagram to claim that Snark was responsible. But Michaela's husband didn't cite her Snark community as contributing to her suicide. He rather said that the criticism Michaela faced was often from people she knew or people from other animal sanctuaries. Michaela's Snark page was pretty inactive.
Wait, why do you think that's happening? It's kind of interesting that they say, well, the reason why she committed is because of Snark or whatever, right? Like, oh yeah, all these people receive widespread criticism or whatever from other animal sanctuaries. Why do you think the other animal sanctuaries are saying that? Why do you think that, you know, they spend all of that time doing that? Why do you think that happens? Why do you think that happens? It's probably because the Snarkers for the Save a Fox Girl spread everything around so much and so hard and signal boosting their own shit to the point where other actual animal sanctuaries and actual like groups and other like fucking friends and family begin to hear about it as well. And then that shit basically, for example, like just like cybersexual spam emailing Rose's family, right? My guess is that there are people who snark her, who message her own family, message her own friends, just do everything in their power to affect her IRL, which led to her essentially Kermitting, right? Edifying herself, right? Yeah, that's just how it works. That's just, that's just the truth of the matter, no?
With only 19 total posts in its lifetime. She also, according to her husband, had a long history of being in and out of therapy with depression and various other mental ailments. Now, I'm not saying it's impossible that Michaela's Snark page contributed to her distress, but this was obviously a deeply troubled person, and Ethan parading around her body for his...
Wait, okay, so do you have any criticism for Michaela's Snark page? Maybe you shouldn't be a snarker for somebody who has severe mental health issues? Because you can't just say, well, she has severe mental health issues and she needs to go seek help at the same time that you're also defending the snarkers. I think that's very, very hypocritical. I think that's so obviously hypocritical. But anyway, yeah. That's...
own narrative purposes and chalking it all up to Snark when he can't even know that to be true is kind of disgusting.
Also, when he himself is a contributor to what he claims he's victim to. Like, we've already established, Reddit already established that he operates a snark subreddit, right?
Remember, snarkers will always say that self-defense is also equivalent to what they're doing, okay? It does matter who fires the first shot. It does actually matter, you know, who is going to be the one to stop after the other one stops, okay? Remember, snarkers will always say, oh, well, aren't you guys doing the same thing? Aren't you guys also doxing and swatting and blah, 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 blah? First of all, no, it's not even close to the same things that you guys do things, right? Like, I don't think I've ever seen any situation like, you know, a snarker getting swatted. I don't think I've seen that, even though, in my opinion, I condemn, okay? I condemn, I disavow, okay? The point is that, you know, first of all, in terms of magnitude, it's not even like close to the same level, right? And the second point is, if the snarkers stop, the people who doing the self-defense snarking will also stop, right? But if the people doing the self-defense thing stops, then the snarkers will not stop. They'll keep on going, right? This is exactly why there is a difference here. The reason why there is a difference is because, number one, it's magnitude. Number two, it's behavior, right?
So it would have been nice for him to maybe, you know, realize his behavior was probably leading people down a similar path.
Thing to do. But despite these lies and conspiracy theories and his appeals to Reddit, Ethan was unsuccessful in getting H3
Also,
removed.
This is not normal.
Also, they will try to create their own tragedies in order to perpetrate their message, right? Remember, a snarker victory in one place, a victory for snarkers in one place is a victory for all snarkers, okay? Why? Because you can see that when the snarkers drove the fox girl, the Save a Fox girl, most likely to suicide, right? When she was driven to her death, now you see snarkers like Kilo, who are now using her death as a way to bolster his message, right? And at the end of the day, Kilo is primarily an anti-destiny snarker, right? And then Hasan would then watch the video by Kilo that cites this other snarker community. So literally in one video, we already see 3 snarker communities at least be cited over the course of this. They back up each other. All of these communities, they back up each other, even though they don't even share members sometimes, okay? Sometimes they do share members, but most of the time they don't. So even if the snarker communities do not share any members, they'll back each other up. They'll defend the line, okay? But yeah, anyway.
This is fucking insane, unhinged behavior that is being
literally no snarker community is like, yeah, we disavow and condemn the Save a Fox snarkers. I think they're insane. We would never strive to do anything like that, right? Yeah, like you'll never hear something like that. It will just never happen.
explicitly sanctioned by Reddit continually. It's nauseating. It's so fucked up.
So he decided to escalate his tactics. Ethan hired an attorney to begin issuing copyright strikes against clips of the H3 podcast that were getting posted on their Snark page. It's unknown exactly how many strikes were issued, but they went after quite a few, including some clips as short as 20 seconds long. Ethan has given various explanations for why he was trying to get these posts removed.
Me and my lawyer were extremely conservative about which posts qualified. The ones that I DMCA'd on that were egregious.
At different times, he's claimed he was only targeting members-only content or posts that openly stated they were trying to steal views. But neither of these turned out to be true. Clips that didn't fit either of those parameters were getting struck also. Eventually, some of these snarkers were added to Ethan's current lawsuits against Hasan's orbiters, which we'll come back to later. But in these filings, we received expanded explanations for some of the DMCA takedown requests. And all of a sudden, the justifications included things such as posts that didn't have enough comments on them. Not a great reason. These filings also claim that H3 was very purposeful with what they chose to strike, listing just 7.
I mean, he does realize that he just doesn't care about being wrong. That's why everything he says is projecting his own actions onto everyone who injured his ego. I mean, there's got to be a fucking moment of introspection, right? Like, how the fuck do you live like this, man?
Dude, the amount of projection coming out of this guy is like comedic. I think the real comedy for Hasan, or the tragedy, if you prefer, okay? I think the real tragedy comedy for Hasan comes from the fact that everything he says is like the most projection-based statements I have ever heard from any individual on planet Earth. Him saying, I can't believe at some point, right, you would expect that Ethan Klein would do some degree of self-introspection and reflection on himself. Like, okay, Hasan? Yeah, you think so?
I think one of my best strengths is the crippling self-doubt that I have that plagues me at times. It makes me a less skilled orator, I think, because that crippling self-doubt is always there in the back of my mind. Am I actually getting this right? Is there more information?
Oh my god, dude, it's so cringe. I can't watch this. This is like every single time Hasan fucking humble brags about himself, I just want to fucking Permit Minecraft and Roblox is just, oh my lord, it is too much, bro. Like, if the most insufferable part of all of this, of watching like Hasan's reaction to Kilo's video, is that Hasan constantly jerks himself off under the table. Okay, like he has to be so fucking flexible in the way that he is sucking his own dick for him to be saying these things. It's crazy behavior. Anyway,
I'm not privy to, right, when I'm delivering statements and shit like that. But I guess that also helps. That also helps because like I do check myself with regular fucking frequency. This motherfucker never does. You're a bad liar. I'm horrible at lying. I can't do it at all.
Examples with detailed explanations for each takedown. And in response to the idea that he was trying to silence his critics,
bro. Yeah, that's true. You are a bad liar. That's why you couldn't get away with the Kaya situation.
Ethan would repeat his claim on stream, asserting that he had only struck a handful of clips from the subreddit.
And your dumb bitch ass at the time was saying I was silencing people, which makes no fucking sense because there's like 1,000 posts up there and we DMCA'd like 5 of them. But what they're referring to is just a DMCA. One of their posts of like the hundreds, if not thousands, got DMCA'd. And so the story is that I'm trying to silence free speech because one post of 1,000 got DMCA'd. Like I said, there's hundreds of posts, we removed maybe 5 at most.
But months earlier, when complaining about Reddit's inaction against Snark, Ethan had previously claimed to have successfully filed dozens of copyright strikes against them.
We performed dozens of copyright strikes on the Snark subreddit. We have removed dozens of posts.
So is Ethan possibly lying to downplay how many claims were being filed? If he is, it might be because what Ethan was actually trying to do was get the subreddit banned as a result of excessive DMCA notices, something that he had seen work with other Snark subreddits before.
She told me that she was aware that there's Snark pages that will talk about
His crippling self-doubt was so easy to hear when you said, that's a JDAM on call. Yeah, and the Al-Aqsa hospital. Yeah.
me and talk about her, whatever. And she was like, I'm going to give you this number of someone who can take down your Snarks. These people will go around and they will copyright strike things on subreddits to get them all these violations that then they get removed. I'm pretty sure as well that's how, you know, Trisha Paytas got the Trishy Land Reddit taken down.
But obviously that plan didn't work, so he started making...
Just checking it, man. Do you take medication for all that incessant anxiety?
We thought the same thing here. For what?
Anxiety and depression fueled by hate? Don't mean to be intrusive? No, because I don't have incessant anxiety and depression. I do have self-doubt, but I don't have anxiety or depression.
By the way, if Hasan, okay, I don't even know if Hasan is telling the truth here, okay? Because if he is medicated, I would tell Hasan to up your dose, okay? I would tell them to up your dose because the idea, dude, Hasan, whenever he's off stream, he is on stream still, okay? When he is on stream, he is still he is obsessively scrolling through Twitter, catching up on the latest DGG orbit drama, okay? Obsessively being the first 10 in order to like a tweet by the Snarkers, viewing the situation from the outside, catching up with J-Stoke and Queeman and everybody else from the Snark space. Dude, this guy, if he is on medication during that time, okay, he needs to up his dosage. If he is genuinely not on medication, he needs to get on medication because that explains a lot of his behavior, okay? But yeah, he is not on meds. I don't think so. But by the way, again, I'm not surprised that he's not on meds. Okay, that's fine. Okay, if you want to say that he's not on meds, then that's fine. That explains a lot, actually. Who created this video? Kilo. Kilo, former editor for President Sunday. He's an anti-Destiny snarker. So.
Also, I've been an anti-imperialist socialist publicly on the internet for the last 13 fucking years. This has opened me up to unfathomable lines of attack.
Also, can I just say, I don't know if Kilo is the original one with this like fucking shadow person with yellow glasses avatar that he does. But I just want to say that this is a very cringe JPEG avatar, okay? I just don't understand this. God, I think it was actually a Black Cat that said this on Twitter. Because I think that Black Cat said that all of the fucking, because of the Shadow Cabal allegations and you know, them being called the Shadow Cabal, whatever, right? They all of them start doing this like fucking shadow person with yellow, cool anime yellow glasses kind of avatar. Like literally all of them started putting that as their avatar. And it's just so cringe because you legitimately think that you're some kind of like, you think you're like Pain's fucking group from Naruto. Like you think you guys are so cool by having such a gay fucking shadow people like JPEG avatar shit. Like it's so cringe. It's so gay. Like I would have preferred J-Stock's Penguin a lot more at this point.
Unless you're talking about the fears that I have about going to the beautiful nation state of Singapore, at which point the answer is yes. At which point, when I think about the only time
they think they're cool, yeah, it's a bunch of fucking Sonic kids who were bullied in high school, and then now they want their turn on the bully train.
The only time where I ever have scary
like these people are the kinds of people who would make OCs like Code Steel the Hedgehog
thoughts is when I'm thinking about doing
and would sexually identify with Shadow the Hedgehog.
Commerce with the beautiful nation state of Singapore only because of one guy and one guy only, a guy that lives there that has stalked me for years. His name is More Pegasus.
Public threats of legal action against members of H3 Snark. And I'm going to briefly
Just end me, bro.
point out the very funny way that he talks when he's addressing Snark. He really thinks he's that guy.
I will look for you. I will find you. And I will
sue you.
He's already been granted a subpoena to obtain the personal information of prominent H3 Snark members, which he claims is just for legitimate copyright purposes.
And he's threatening to dox them. It's not a dox, you dumb fuck. It's called a subpoena. Now, what happens to that information? I don't know. I literally just want to hold them accountable for copyright infringement. Court filings are all public. So if like their private information shows up there, I literally can't help it.
But if you're not trying to dox them, then why say things like this? I mean, he's just openly expressing here that his goal is, at least partially, to expose the identities of these Snarkers.
Like anyone that participated in that sub should be humiliated, embarrassed, and exposed. If I was one of these people and had something to lose, who had, let's say, a good job, or was part of an elite university, something like that, they would certainly not want people to know what they've been up to. They all have quite a lot to lose, and I will be the one that makes them lose those things.
That is pretty explicit. I mean, just look at one of the letters from Ethan's attorney. Give us the identity of Snark moderators, or all of your...
I mean, isn't it good that he's kind of explicit about it? I think it's very refreshing to have somebody state what their goal is, right? Ethan is the one that says this, but it's also understandable, like, why he is saying this out in the open, right? He wants to create a contrast between him saying this out in the open versus the Snarkers doing it in the dark, right? Because the Snarkers, they'll do all these things that Ethan is claiming, right? Except for the suing part, because they don't have enough money to do that, right? That's fine. Well, except for Pixie, I guess she does, right? I guess she does sue. Anyway, never mind. No, never mind. I thought I was gonna be like, okay, no, they don't have enough money to sue, but then I realized that people like Pixie existed. So no, we can't even discount legal action. Actually,
personal info will be made public, and this letter was regarding a clip posted on H3 Snark that was 90 seconds long. It seems obvious that his primary motivation is not really protecting his property. But you know how we can be sure? Ethan previously, not even that long ago, had opened up the H3 IP to everybody, and he even gave his blessing to people profiting off of his channel.
I am opening our IP to the world. If you want to cut up clips from the podcast, from our members live, from anything with me in it, go for it, man. Monetize it. I will not claim.
Remember
I will
that?
not remove. I will not do anything.
Remember that?
Fair, it's basically been my policy. I don't claim or remove anything really at all.
And now you're making it explicit.
I mean, here's the thing, okay? After you learn the Snarkers exist, okay, you can have some wrong opinions and go through some wrong, like, fucking shit, right? I don't know. Did you go through the Cameron part? No. Wait, what's so bad about Cameron? Like, unironically, what is bad about Cameron?
Yeah.
He was openly encouraging people to monetize his property, even on YouTube.
We opened our IP, and there are starting to be channels who are uploading content
and
they're getting views, and I'm very happy.
But Redditors who don't profit off of him at all, he has a massive problem with his content being shared there. And the only difference...
By the way, okay, dude, I got DM'd by people, at least one person, asking about you, by the way, Blood of Death, okay? Saying that, oh yeah, you changed your identity or something, you had some previous allegations by the Snarkers or some shit. I don't fucking know, okay? But, yeah, there you go.
Between these two situations, one supports H3, the other criticizes him. You can't blanket open up your IP and then claim infringement when you just don't like who's sharing it. Either it's protected or it's not. So when it comes to H3 Snark, Ethan seems to have abused the MCA as a guise to try to silence his critics. That's it. This whole Snark controversy is really...
Listen, okay, whatever conflict and whatever beef you guys have going on, leave me out of it, okay? It's just, I can't, I do not care, okay?
Interesting, because when you zoom out, it kind of gives you a lot of perspective on Ethan's character, like how he stands staunchly against involving people's families in online drama.
The way that's super fucked and twisted about it is how they go after people's families.
Except when he does it, or how he hates defamation and considers it harassment.
One of them fabricated a post. That's defamation.
Except when he does it, or how he thinks Snark is evil and should be wiped from the internet.
I'm against Snark subreddits. I stand opposed to all Snark subreddits.
Wow.
Except when he uses it. Yeah, this is Ethan's web browser back during his fallout with Trisha Paytas. And you'll notice Ethan is a frequent visitor of Trishyland. Trisha's Snark.
Snarker nuke, a snook. Oh god. Okay, has anybody here interacted with Kilo before? Because Kilo hangs around all the fucking Snarker communities, but like, dude.
This public prosecutor Singapore has a Twitter account you can follow, so you can see your very valid fears impacting your business. Government legal advisor, Attorney General's Chamber Singapore, government legal advisor, public prosecutor, drafter of laws. Visit our website. Wow, that's good. This is good information. Thank you, Chatter. I look, for the longest time, I have loved the nation state of Singapore, and I will forever love.
Wait, what the fuck? Is this Hasan openly calling for, calling for going after More Pegasus criminally? Like reporting More Pegasus to the Singaporean authorities? Wait, is this Hasan doing that? Any meaningful capacity? Gotcha. Bro, what the fuck? Wait, what? I thought he was a card-carrying Snarker. I don't know what card-carrying means, but yeah, he's a plainclothes Snarker. Yeah.
Of the nation chamber.
This whole Snark controversy is really interesting.
Excuse me, what the fuck did Hasan just do?
Because when you zoom out, it kind of gives you a lot of perspective on Ethan's character, like how he stands staunchly against involving people's families in online drama.
The way that's super fucked and twisted about it is how they go after people's families.
Except when he does it, or how he hates defamation and considers it harassment.
One of them fabricated a post. That's defamation.
Except when he does it, or how he thinks Snark is evil and should be wiped from the internet.
I'm against Snark subreddits. I stand opposed to all Snark subreddits.
Wow.
Except when he uses it. Yeah, this is Ethan's web browser back during his fallout with Trisha Paytas. And you'll notice Ethan is a frequent visitor of Trishyland. Trisha's Snark.
This public prosecutor Singapore has a Twitter account you could follow, so you can see your very valid fears impacting your business. Government legal advisor, Attorney General's Chamber Singapore, government legal advisor, public prosecutor, drafter of laws. Visit our website. Wow. That's good. This is good information. Thank you, Chatter. I look, for the longest time, I have loved the nation state of Singapore, and I will forever love the nation.
Bro, if you expect me to think that, oh yeah, this is just a joke that Hasan is trying to say. First of all, okay, jokes are supposed to be funny, okay? Unless you're saying that this is supposed to be like the cringe, the office humor, where you're supposed to just laugh at the cringe because of the person exhibiting massive amounts of effort in order to make the joke, then fine, okay? But this, to me, at the very least, is just Hasan basically just advocating for going after more Pegasus IRL. Like, this is essentially what he's advocating for. Like, oh yeah, here's this prosecutor, this fucking government attorney, right, from Singapore, right? Oh, more Pegasus lives in Singapore. You guys should like fucking tag this motherfucker in order to report, in order to tag more Pegasus or whatever, right? Like, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised, okay? Because you can see that people in Hasan's chat is saying like interesting and doing the Pepe planning emote shit is like, and then someone says, oh shit, litigation time, baby. Like, yeah, like, dude. Wait, can I then levy the same thing at Hasan? Can I also say that, oh yeah, this motherfucker is someone who openly will use like legal litigation in order to silence criticisms and such?
State of Singapore and its laws. Of course, one of my one of my biggest one of the things I love about the beautiful nation state of Singapore is, of course, its many ports and its interest in keeping the Strait of Malacca open for business, open for my business. And yet, for some reason, as of late, I've had great anxiety about doing commerce in the nation state of Singapore. I'm very worried about traveling to the nation state of Singapore because of more Pegasus and the incessant harassment that he has engaged in, slander, smears. I'm talking about billions of dollars of commerce, okay? Billions of dollars of commerce. By monitoring recent activity in your coverage of Singapore Strait in the city of Batam, I've been able to lock down several contracts in the region. Thank you, sir. Yeah. And of course, this is a massive community that also love.
Why is he saying this? I feel like there is more to this. Is this Hasan doxing more Pegasus? Is this Hasan trying to dox Pegasus? Does more Pegasus live near a port IRL in Singapore, in Bataan? I don't. What?
Utilizing the ports, the many ports, the beautiful ports in the nation state of Singapore, except for one man who has made our experience, this entire community that is famously business minded and is a fan of doing commerce and doing trade with the nation state of Singapore. We have felt worried about continuing.
Wait, it just sounds like, wait, yeah, is this doxing? I don't know. I guess the joke is that Singapore has a very punitive legal system, thinking it's good for bringing in business. I don't get it.
Our future business with the nation state, potentially billions, if not trillions of dollars of assets moving back and forth. Just something that we're worried about. You know, I'll keep a close watch on the Attorney General's chambers of Singapore.
Subreddit. Ethan and the H3 crew are known to have been supporters and regular visitors of various Trisha Snark pages, including multiple named after their former podcast, Frenemies. The H3 podcast was actually remarkably public about being appreciative of Snark, back when the target was somebody that they didn't like.
Frenemies too. Oh, you have to request to join? Well, I got to request access now.
Love said he secured Frenemies 12, so we're safe.
Okay.
Wait, Frenemies 12 is us? Yeah, we got it. Go to Frenemies 12, people, since Frenemies 2 is closed.
Frenemies 2 is like home base. You know what I mean?
Why have they done this?
The irony is that Ethan and Neela don't actually have a problem with Snark. In fact, when his own fans engage in the same behaviors that he accuses Snark of, he'll just pretend that it isn't happening.
It's a numbers game, okay? Some people obviously from our audience are going to be take it too far and be inappropriate and say horrible things. This is not my fan base. So them even trying to make it about our fan base is disingenuous and it's a fucking lie.
This is slightly old data, but one of the most popular subreddits among people who also post an H3 subreddit is a makeup Snark page. And there's nothing wrong with that. Because the thing is, Ethan is a controversial figure with millions of followers. He's been involved in countless dramas and public feuds with others, and at that scale, criticism is inevitable. Some of it is going to be harsh. Some people might cross lines, but that doesn't mean there's a massive organized campaign against you. It just means you're notable and there's a lot of eyeballs on you. And I don't know how to protect someone like
Ethan Klein. I don't think Ethan Klein's community has ever swatted someone called CPS or fucking killed somebody IRL. Is there any like fucking equivalent? Is there any equivalent to the H3 community doing the same shit that Hasan's community has? Fuck. Well, here's the thing, okay? I don't think H3 has the perfect community. I think they fucking suck. Okay? I think a lot of them are like people who is just a bunch of gossipers, tea people, and they share a lot of the same traits with Snarkers, actually. Unironically, they share a lot of the same traits. But I think one of the biggest defining traits that, you know, they lack in is, number one, the obsessiveness over one person. And number two, the extremities and the magnitude in which you're willing to take that stalking and harassment. So even though, like, yeah, even though Ethan Klein snarks on appearance and insecurities and attacks people's fucking, you know, stuff that is like personable, I guess. I just don't. It's not even close. I just don't think it's even close.
Ethan from every isolated incident of harassment on the internet, but I know that the answer is not silencing all of your critics. Now, some of you might be thinking, but Kilo, didn't these people send CPS and skulls to his house? I don't blame Ethan for taking matters into his own hands. Well, let's see. In November of 2024, Ethan began threatening Reddit with legal action if he couldn't get H3 Snark banned from the website. In December, it was discovered that he had been weaponizing DMCA against them. In January, he finalized his plan to ultimately sue them for copyright infringement. Then in February, he began making vague threats of doxing and exposing the identities of the Snark moderators. And the CPS and skulls incidents didn't happen until March.
So I'm gonna skip the CPS stuff and let's get to let's speed this up a little bit because I want to see his lawsuit arc, and I also want to see some of these other villains that I apparently have that many of which I have heard of, at least tangentially know of, and some I do not know of at all.
Really got me. It's the stated malicious intent to steal.
And I suggest you all watch it through other people as well.
If you enjoyed not giving any views to that terrible video, follow, subscribe.
A lot of people have been wanting to watch this without necessarily supporting Ethan Klein.
So Ethan is targeting people who maliciously reacted by openly stating that they wanted to avoid supporting his channel. And to a lot of people, that makes sense. Go after the people who are trying to harm your channel. But the problem is that both legally and logically, the concept of a quote malicious reaction is kind of fucking incoherent. So legally, any focus on malice in a copyright lawsuit would be a misapplication of copyright law. In US
Oh my God, it turns out this static fucking PNG was right. It turns out that's precisely what a judge, a real ass judge, saw and decided. Wow, it turns out this static PNG knows how to fucking read and has a working brain. Lo and behold, everybody, you can't issue a copyright suit while simultaneously claiming that the content itself is transformative, but not in the direction that you fucking wanted it to be. Wow. But I thought all of these weird, perverted legal guys, fake lawyers,
law, especially when arguing,
were right. I thought Asmongold was right. It turns out they were fucking wrong. Because remember, this video came out before the Denims, the Denims lawsuit ended, which has not even ended. As a matter of fact, it's still ongoing because Ethan wants to foolishly appeal it for some fucking strange reason. He hasn't gotten enough. Denim says, "I can't believe Legal Mindset would lie to me." Yeah, it's really messed up, especially after all of his courses that we paid about going and living in Asia and all the many benefits of living in Asia, all the many creepy benefits.
I'm just like super curious, like, because I hear Hasan praising China a lot, and as somebody who is like Chinese American and been back to China a few times, all my relatives living in China, they all want to come here. They all want to come here to America. The guy in the video is spitting right now. Hello, Kilo. Wait, are you gonna come on and talk? What the fuck are you gonna talk about in the first place? But if you're free now, I'm willing to talk. Your video sucks.
I'm just a big city lawyer.
For fair use, intent, or malice has pretty much nothing to do with whether infringement has actually occurred. The primary test for fair use focuses on four factors, mainly whether the work has been sufficiently transformed by adding new meaning or commentary. But intent or malice is not one of those four factors. Someone could be completely unaware that material they're using is even copyrighted, and they can still be found.
I think it was originally about what was the claim? I think you said it's a banger. It's only a banger in the sense that Hasan promoted it because Snarker's got to back up other Snarkers. Okay. I think at the end of the day, even though the Hasan Snarker sphere and your sphere does not really intersect all that much, like in the same way that your Snarker sphere intersects with Kiwi Farms, I think at the end of the day, all right, you guys will back up each other because one small step for Snarkers is another big leap for Snarker kind. All right, where the fuck are you in my DMs? You're way too far down. Oh, it's about this one. Kilo, we all know what you're trying to do, okay? Like, I just hate the whole pretending game, okay? I know how the Snarkers work. I just hate the whole pretending game. It's so tiring, okay? Don't you think it's tiring too? There is literally no good explanation. It's this one, yeah, that got promoted by Steven.
Is going to die.
Yeah, wait. Well, what the fuck is your defense for this, bro?
Isn't that an optics loss? Oh, I wonder how long it took him to remove this thread, because it's a pretty small subreddit. It's got 70 upvotes. What's wild is that Destiny's supposed to be at LibCon in a few weeks with Ezra Klein, Bulwark, New York Times.
Wait, also, did it have to be 3 hours?
And
the fuck?
People in a few weeks. Here's the link to the thing. This is who it's hosted by in the About section. In his chat right after that, he says someone is going to die soon. So you have like the conference, you've got a few big names, you've got the About page where my guess is their email is probably there, and then you've got like a juicy...
Swallowing antidote, if you're doing this stuff and you're going around with the same name, I've seen you in my chat. You get 1 warning on this stuff, okay? I'm not getting into this, like, reporting and doing this shit all over the place. Nope. You get, like, one tiny warning on this shit, okay? 1 time.
Dude. Yeah. Okay.
I don't even, like, I understand that Desi is a shitty person, but I'm not going around when he threatens...
Like, I think it's so fucking clear here that J-Stalk is mad at this person because this person got caught, right? Like this person got caught and that's why JStalk is mad at this person. It isn't that this person is doing this in the first place. It's because, well, he didn't run it by JStalk, right? Later on.
Somebody like me, I will handle it. This shit, this is a good rule that we came up with Kilo yesterday. If you want to do something like this, you run it by me. If you don't run it by me, it's a ban, automatic, going forward, okay? I assume on Twitch? No, I've seen him in this chat.
What? Dude,
he had like one warning on it.
He's so stupid. He literally just outright, dude. He also fucking outright confirms that like this guy is in his chat as well. What a fucking dumb fuck, dude.
And you're like done. In fact, you probably gotta. I think we gotta do a timeout here.
Oh my god, dude.
I don't like timing people out who are here and who do participate, but like it's just you gotta go when you do shit like this.
Dude, I forgot how ridiculous this was. And this guy only got timed out. It's crazy.
Right, that's not good. I mean, I think,
man,
ultimately, I think this guy's incredibly harmful, and like any presence he's got on the internet is essentially.
Yeah, and then now soft justifying, right? Like, just notice how again he was upset at this person for being caught, right? And then now JStalk is like soft justifying exactly what this person's actions are, right? Oh yeah, Destiny is an awful person. You're doing this. I totally understand why you're doing this, and I totally would co-sign this if only you would run this by me. And you should do it under different names, so then you wouldn't be caught. Like, dude, it's just like, dude, what the fuck?
Used to facilitate further harm to more people.
Bro.
Like he's just a totally deranged psychopath who is spiraling out of control on a repeated level for weeks and weeks and weeks, right? But I just don't want people to draw attention to this community any more than they already have. Where's this guy?
Dude. JStalk a bit quiet compared to you, at least for me. Good. Okay. All right. Yeah, this is like silly. Wait,
I mean, again, just like an incredibly harmful person who's perpetuating harm all over the internet. But I just don't want people in my community. Like, I'm gonna ban you from my community not because you're in the wrong, but because one, you didn't clear it with me, and two, it just draws more attention from these psychos onto people in my community, which I don't want right now. Like, I'm pretty sure these guys are gonna like attempt to phone book a bunch of people and trying to not create adjacent targets for them to go after. Okay, it's just, it is what it is, man.
He sounds so depressed.
I'm guilty of infringement. Malice might come into play later when determining damages, but legally, it's completely irrelevant to whether anyone's guilty of copyright infringement. And logically, Ethan's focus on malice doesn't really make sense either. Look at it this way. If somebody steals your property, whatever they say they're doing isn't really relevant. If someone steals a bike from your front yard and rides away saying, it's okay, I'm not stealing it,
Mock everyone with the gout. Yeah, sure.
I'm just writing it.
Do that.
They're still stealing your bike. They're receiving all the benefits of theft, and you're experiencing all the harm of it, regardless of what they said they were doing. With React content, it's the same thing. If you watch someone's entire video on stream, you've taken their content and given your audience a version they can watch instead of the original. Whether you say, I'm stealing your viewers, or you say, I love this creator, doesn't change what you're doing. The only thing that matters here is whether or not.
The reason why I want Kilo to call in with that one is because I'm just so fucking curious. What is the defense for that? Like, in my opinion, I think it's so cut and dry. I think it's so cut and dry that even JStalk doesn't defend himself. Not even JStalk defends himself in that clip. In that clip, as JStalk is covering, he's not even defending himself. So, like, I'm just curious, like, what Kilo would even say in order to defend, because this was the original reason why he wanted to talk to me, but now he doesn't want to talk to me anymore because he says that he forgot and he is good now. It's like, what? Like, okay. I'm owed my content, okay? I want my content.
Your coverage adds enough to the original video to make it a fundamentally different product, which would mean you're no longer stealing. And furthermore, everyone who reacts to an entire video on stream with minimal commentary knows that that's what's happening. They know their audience is watching through them instead of going to the original. That's not a secret. That's how the genre works. So if somebody knows they're stealing viewers and they choose to do it anyway, isn't that literally the definition of malice? So then what's the difference between what these three women did and anyone else who gave a low-effort reaction to the content nuke? Well, materially, there isn't one. All of them willfully chose to deprive Ethan's channel of potential viewers. The only difference is Denims, Frogan, and Caseytron said those words out loud. I do want to briefly point out that I'm not even really sure that Denims or Caseytron did in fact openly state an intent to steal views. I know Ethan's convinced everyone that that's what happened, but look at what they actually said. Denims responded to a chatter saying they wanted to watch the content nuke through someone else and simply confirms that she is in fact going to react to it, which isn't really malicious. At the end of the video, she makes a comment from earlier. If you enjoyed not giving any views to that terrible video, follow, subscribe.
Yo, so, but what would be the excuse though? But like, what would you say?
Etc. That's not really malicious intent either. The video's already over, and it's
Like,
simply an acknowledgement that
what?
some people were there for that reason. Same thing with Caseytron. A lot of people have been wanting to watch this.
What
without
would you
necessarily supporting
say?
Ethan. That's not really a statement of intent. It's just kind of a fact, and that's
Like-
all she said. So is this really them saying they're trying to steal Ethan's views? I'm not really convinced of that. They seem more like statements of awareness about the market for boycotting Ethan Klein's channel. But let's leave that aside. Let's say these were explicit statements of malicious intent. There's another creator who Ethan is not suing, who did the exact same thing. XQC proudly admitted that he is stealing Ethan's content during his reaction.
I actually admitted watching it.
The entire point of the legal shit is to punish the snarkers. XQC is not snarking on Ethan Klein. The legal thing is a route in order for Ethan Klein to weaponize the legal system in order to attack the snarkers. That's it. That's the entire point. The entire point is that like, for example, okay, listen, Ethan Klein cannot say outright that he is weaponizing the legal system to do so, because to say so would mean a point against him in the legal case, right? Like if he simply just said, okay, this is why, like, I'm not suing XQC, and this is why I'm suing the I'm suing the snarkers specifically, even though they're both doing relatively the same thing, right? He can't admit that on stream. He can't admit that in public because that's a mark against him in the fucking court case. Obviously, duh, right? Yeah, this is just obviously a stupid point.
I admit watching. People think reacting on stream? No, watching. I'm not reading this. I'm watching this. What about it?
If Ethan actually cared about lazy React content, XQC is a prime example of somebody he should be going after. He reacted to the content noob in full with minimal commentary. He's got a massive audience, and he's openly admitted he doesn't care about intellectual property. To Ethan.
So in that regard, do you care at all about like IP or copyright? Does that matter to you?
No.
It doesn't matter.
Well, if flat out doesn't.
During that same debate, Ethan specifically called out XQC for using deceptive thumbnails, taking
Like, dude, XQC, dude, so many people criticize Ethan Klein. So many people went after Ethan Klein. Dude, XQC went after Ethan Klein, but why did Ethan Klein not sue not Destiny? Why didn't Ethan Klein sue XQC at the time when they had that debate thing? And XQC was like mauling. XQC was like mauling against Ethan Klein. Isn't that a really good question? Is that out of all the fucking critiquers and the people who gave feedback and complained about Ethan Klein and stuff, he just happens to only go after the snarkers when it comes to handing out like 5 fucking lawsuits in a row? Why is that? Why is that? Because XQC is not some kind of fucking internet stalker to Ethan Klein. Like he's not like fucking soft justifying, soft endorsing, essentially trying to create some kind of soft justification in order to go after Ethan Klein's kids, right? This stuff is like elementary to me.
the original creator's thumbnail and slapping his face on
School, finger painting, Kaiser.
to confuse audiences and siphon views.
The fact that you're using the same title and the same thumbnail is so parasitic. It's so shady. You are only doing that to siphon off views and confuse people. There's no other reason for that.
But that's exactly what XQC did with the content nuke. By Ethan's own standards, XQC should be the first person he would go after. But when he watches him proudly admitting to stealing his property, he has only nice things to say.
I'm not reading this. I'm watching this. What about it?
And listen, I respect him, man. I acknowledge you.
We hear you.
I acknowledge you as the king of this shit.
So is Ethan just a pussy who won't go after someone that has the money to fight back? Yes.
Yep.
But more importantly, the shows that...
But also, he knows that XQC plays a formative role in the harassment. He knows Asmongold plays a big role in the harassment campaigns because Ethan's audience is dwindling. But there are a lot of much larger and much more insane audience.
I wonder over the course of this entire thing, has there been any examples of Hasan getting CPS calls or getting swatted? Out of all the vitriol, right? Out of all the vitriol that Ethan Klein has for Hasan, right? Because to Ethan Klein, like taking down Hasan is his like life mission at this point, right? Has anybody swatted Hasan or called up Hasan's mom? Or I don't think I've heard a single example. I mean, maybe it exists, but even if Hasan's parents were called or something like that, I still don't think that's even the same level, as remotely the same as the CPS goals, or, you know, a CPS being called or the swatting that happened to Destiny, right? It doesn't even matter, okay? Like nothing even comparable happened. Yeah.
Instances out there who will participate in the harassment of all of Ethan's enemies, which is precisely the reason why he never chose to sue like Asmongold or
By the way, like I would buy the harassment angle a lot more if XQC was explicitly lying, okay, like wantonly lying about Hasan. But XQC, I would arguably say that what XQC is actually doing is criticism, actually, like good faith criticism, unironically. Like maybe you don't understand half of what XQC speaks because he's speaking in Timbuktu or some shit like that, but at least XQC gives like good faith criticism. If you manage to get a translator, okay, if you manage to get a translator and you decipher XQC's words, they're not that bad.
XQC, because he doesn't care about receiving negative pushback from their audiences. He actually welcomes the fact that they did this dog shit react in a way that wasn't transformative at all, but he didn't care about copyright at all.
Yeah, by the way, and XQC is another person in which his audience does not go out and fucking explicitly fucking call CPS and shit, okay? I don't think I've heard of that either. All right, otherwise his ops will literally never stop bringing it up.
Isn't the point. He just wanted to punish.
No.
He just wanted to punish people who made him feel bad for criticizing him.
But the lawsuits have nothing to do with malice or lazy React content or protecting intellectual property.
Just so you know, there's literally no equal. There's no equal to the vitriol of the Snarker communities. No equal. There's none. No equal. No equal. The Snarkers are the most unhinged people to exist. In fact, they're even more unhinged than the Groypers in some respects. They're even more unhinged than that. I don't think the Groypers have been hating on Destiny for more than a decade at this point. I don't know. Ever since the advent of Nick Fuentes, okay, the Groypers have always fucking despised Destiny, dude. Okay, I'm pretty sure not even it's still not close. What the Groypers and Fuentes has done with Destiny is still not even close. It's just not. I don't know, man. Shit's stupid. This is all retarded.
This is just a targeted attack on specific people that Ethan doesn't like, which is not really what the court system is meant for. And of the people Ethan is suing, Denims is the clearest example of
They overlap? Yes, they do.
just how bad faith he's being here. I mean, Ethan spends his entire announcement video talking about the harm of lazy React streamers, like people who walk away from the video and leave.
For example, there will always be Groypers. There will always be Groypers who are present in Queeman's audience, right? Like people like Max Striker Films, who is like a Groyper. Yeah, a lot of these people, right? A lot of these people will, if Fuentes' community isn't hyper focusing on Steven, then they'll do the hyper focusing themselves, and they'll find a community that does, right? Yeah. I'm gonna draw a random card, okay? 4 of Wands. I don't know what that means. I'll draw another card. Didn't Emery call stuff Goyslop? Yeah. Yes. Ace of Wands, okay? Can we get a major arcana this time? Oh, whatever. Hey, look, Knight of Pentacles. Look at this art. So cool. The Snarkers take a horseshoe and make it a circle. That's actually a great way to put it. Okay, that's actually unironically a great way to put it. The Snarkers take a horseshoe and make a circle. Yeah, that makes sense.
The problem seems to have only gotten worse. You have people like Hasan Piker paving the way of fair use with what's known as chair react.
Apparently, Hasan claimed to be swatted back in 2021. Wait, what? Ethan Klein?
When Hasan gets up, disappears for an extended period of time, and leaves the video.
You want to know what the craziest thing is? He's literally defended my reacts to XQC and said at the time that I engaged in the most transformative reacts that he had ever seen. Bro, there's literally just like pre-Fallout, post-Fallout Ethan. Every single
I just don't understand how anyone can sit there and fucking listen to Hasan, okay? Like he's like chewing.
Rank up, hold the line. This hamlet shall not fall.
Oh, we got double raid. W in the chat, if you think I'm good for Steven's orbit. L in the chat if you want Steven to kick me out of the orbit. Choose one. Go. Choose one. If you put L and you want me to be kicked out of Steven's orbit, you should call in. It should be good content, okay? Hi from Destiny. Hello. You guys should put a, by the way, people in YouTube chat, put a W in kick chat because yeah, stimulate the activity there, okay? Stay but do your own thing. Gotcha. Here come Kaiser. Yeah. Dude, Kaiser had to like prepare for like 4 days, and even then he got fucking rolled. It's just like Aiden fucking emotionally preparing himself for like 2 days, and then he got rolled. And he's like, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna get like fucking Alishan. And he's like, yeah, I can handle that. Dude. He was doing way better when it was just me. Right? For real. Dear leader just ended stream. Yeah, I know. He raided me. Thanks for the raid, by the way, Steven, on both YouTube and Kick, okay? I will pick out a card for you. The devil. Okay, there you go. If you're curious about which card, yeah, there you go. Yeah, the devil. Okay, well, we're not going to talk about that. Okay.
Thing Ethan Klein said about me before he chose to believe that I hurt his feelings and turned the entire internet against him.
I'm covering Hasan going over the Snarker Kilo's videos. Actually, Kilo is in YouTube chat right now. Everyone say hi to Kilo. Kilo is actually here in YouTube chat right now. He said for a few comments that his video was super banger, okay? And I believe he's lurking right now, okay?
Is the exact opposite of like the post-Fallout where he's just trying to maximize the pain.
Playing for his chair, Mr. Chair, they call it.
But Denim's reaction to the content nuke was nothing like that. The content nuke itself is less than 2 hours long, and Denim's reaction to it is almost 4 hours long. And according to Ethan's own standard, that should qualify as being transformative.
My reacting to Ian's content cop, which I finished in, my total reaction was probably, what, like 5 hours or something in total?
I think he left. Nah, they're always in the background. Like, this is the only thing that they do. The only thing that the Snarkers do is that they'll just endlessly watch reactions to themselves. Anytime their name gets mentioned, they'll celebrate. Any kind of little mention or clout or anything like that, they'll hyperfixate on that. Yeah. Because I think that they do a lot of things that they try to incite in other people, just like how other people crash out over them snarking on them. people like Kilo are projecting when they say that. Because the truth is that they can't resist any streamer or anybody reacting to their content or talking about them in any way. They don't really have the ability to ignore shit like that. Okay, but you know, I bet that every single time I cover J-Stoke, J-Stoke knows and he hyperfixates on that. He'll never listen, okay? J-Stoke, Queeman, all these people will never admit it, but 100% whenever I cover them, somebody in their community lets them know about it. And maybe or maybe not, they'll watch me basically and lurk, okay? Or they'll have another member or a friend tell them what I said about them. 100%. I've seen it before. Okay? It's like, oh yeah, you realize that X is talking about you right now, right? I've seen that in these communities, yeah.
Maybe less, 4. And his was an hour and a half. I think that sounds pretty reasonable. That's like taking 2 times more than the original runtime, which seems like a good amount to contribute to have proper commentary, right?
So again, by his own measure of what fair use is, Denim sufficiently transformed his video, which should mean she...
Oh yeah, by the way, if you're in YouTube chat, okay, put a like if you like who I am, okay? If you like how cool I am. Put a dislike if you think that I am toxic to this space and you want me to go away and you want my channel to be banned by YouTube, okay? If you think that my channel should be banned, put a dislike, okay? Don't worry, I'm able to see the dislikes, all right? And put a like if you think I'm a net positive on the YouTube space. Now I have to go to YouTube too? You don't have to.
Didn't really steal anything. So why then is Ethan still suing her? Ethan had a problem. He wanted to sue Dems, but as of right now, there really isn't that much legal precedent for full-length live react content like this. So it's pretty unclear whether Dems' reaction to the content nuke would legally
Okay, Kilo admits it here.
be found to be an infringement on copyright, especially given the length and added commentary. And because Ethan couldn't know for sure, he decided to hedge.
Some of you guys out there sweating?
He didn't just register the content nuke with the US Copyright Office. He also registered the countdown stream that led up to it on the H3 podcast, which Dems did watch live. And her reaction to this countdown stream is far less likely to fall under fair use. But the problem is this countdown stream doesn't seem like it's what Ethan was talking about when he expressed wanting to protect people's content. In his announcement video, he repeatedly mentions long-form content and uses Lamino, whose videos likely take weeks or months to make, as an example of unfairness.
What if I could make a long-form, irresistible piece of...
Oh, definitely not weeks. The way that Lemino makes videos, definitely not weeks. Definitely not weeks. That guy definitely takes like at least 2 to 3 months to make a single video. That guy is...
content that I knew that these streamers couldn't resist. They couldn't avoid the temptation of watching it the second it was published.
So he's clearly making it sound like he's talking about video essays and things with high production quality, not some countdown stream. He specifically talks about Dems here as though she reacted to the content nuke itself with no commentary.
I knew they would watch the entire video, add little to no commentary. After being gone for a few minutes, she returns and then sits silently for another couple of minutes eating.
But he doesn't mention the countdown stream a single time. It's almost like he doesn't want you to realize that he's completely spite-driven and full of shit.
You're lying.
Maybe I am, so what?
And here's what makes that super obvious. Ethan didn't...
Okay. This is such a stupid, like, fucking talking point to me, okay? If somebody is spite-driven, why wouldn't you question the reasoning behind that? I feel like if a community was going after my kids, why wouldn't you be spite-driven? Isn't it a completely, reasonable thing to be spite-driven? Is that even a bad thing? Spite-driven. You mean, like, if I was spite-driven, over something as simple as a group project and somebody was, not pulling their weight and stuff, right? I wouldn't be doing some kind of revenge shit. If you're spite-driven over that, I think you're overreacting. Absolutely, right? However, I think that if somebody was going after my kids or my parents or any of my family members, right, trying to get them arrested, swatting me and whatever, isn't that a good reason to be spite-driven? Spite-driven. What does that even mean anymore? It means nothing. It's whoever you want to make look obsessed and bad and out of their mind, right? Whoever's mental health you want to gaslight, right? Pretty simple, pretty easy. Yeah.
Been registered the countdown stream with the content nuke back in January. He did it in March, 2 months later. What happened in March that would make Ethan want to be sure he could go after Denims?
That it seems like she's directly responsible for CPS coming to my house in the morning and interviewing my children.
These basically are not even really copyright lawsuits. It's quite obvious that Ethan just came up with a way to use the legal system against his personal enemies. And the ultimate goal of his plan was to threaten them with something
Yeah, I mean, good.
that they couldn't fight back against. Take Casey Tron and Frogan, for instance.
And just for the record, okay, I don't even want, I've said this before, okay, so you can literally double check my consistency on this, okay? I think, I'm going to say what my take is for the Ethan Klein lawsuits, okay? I think that it is totally understandable why Ethan Klein is doing this, and I think that exercising tit for tat and real world consequences is a good thing. I believe that exercising real world consequences is a good thing. However, I think that if Ethan Klein wins his lawsuits, I think that's objectively a bad thing for all content creators. Easily a bad thing for all content creators. I think that is the truth. Okay, Because you can't tell me that, oh yeah, there's a world out there in which Ethan Klein wins his lawsuits regarding the Snarkers, right? And in which I wouldn't be affected. Just mainly because, again, right, if there's anything I do, I snark the Snarkers, right? If I snark the Snarkers, I just don't really see a reason why that rule wouldn't be applied to me. But I'm just going to say this, okay? If it means my career getting canceled, my YouTube getting taken down, and me getting sued by somebody, for me to hold true to my principles and think that tit for tat is the right thing to do, I actually think it's a net positive. I will gladly offer my career up as a sacrifice to the altar. So basically, I think that this isn't even good for my career. I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think any of this is good for my career. This isn't good for any of the content creators' careers or whatever the fuck. Spiritual, don't fed post, okay? But yeah, it's not good for anybody's career. It's not good for anybody legally at all, okay? Because the only thing that this kind of thing would, affect is, well, you can weaponize something like this as precedent, right, against me in the future if somebody is pissy enough, right? Well, I think it's worth the cost. I think it's worth the cost because ultimately I think that the Snarker issue is a bigger issue than lawsuit precedents. Does that make sense? I think that the Snarker issue is a larger issue than lawsuit precedents that will directly harm me, right? Yeah? Basically, I'm making a moral calculation. I'm weighing the pros, I'm weighing the cons, and I think that the pros outweigh the cons, even though the cons directly affect me. I think that is a very principled position to take, and I recommend more content creators to openly say what is on their mind when it comes to shit like this, okay? Because in my opinion, okay, it's worth, if nobody is willing to set an example to say like, oh yeah, some things have pros, some things have cons, and we need to, measure the two. Yeah, I think more people should do that. Not everything is black or white when it comes to morality and ethics, okay? These things that Ethan Klein is doing has pros and cons, is morally gray. And yeah, it's not bad to acknowledge that. I think we need some nuance in this space, right?
These two have pretty small audiences. They could not have meaningfully impacted Ethan's income at all. But Ethan is pursuing statutory damages, meaning his payout wouldn't be based on any actual lost revenue, but fixed amount that the court decides upon, and could be up to $150,000. He's also asking for attorney's fees and prejudgment interest, just for good measure. This is Ethan applying the absolute maximum amounts of financial pressure possible. He's not really trying to right or wrong. He's trying to make the cost of defense so high that they don't actually have a choice. Caseytron, for instance, expressed concern about losing her home as a result of the lawsuit. And when she's facing that level of financial threat, she doesn't realistically have the option of trying to prove whether she's right or wrong. She's probably going to just decide to not risk losing her house, which is likely why Caseytron was the first of the 3 defendants to resolve her case. The 2 parties settled in December, and as part of that settlement, she was required.
But what that is just basically real world consequences. It's the only way to get people like Casey Tron to stop, right? For the record, do I think that Casey Tron deserved it? Like in terms of like, no, I mean, no, I would think that, I think Denims deserves that retribution a lot more than Casey Tron, absolutely. But I think that you need to start going after the, you also need to start going after easy targets so then the harder targets can start sweating, yeah.
To deliver an on-stream apology, a statement which consisted of roughly 26 seconds discussing the importance of copyright, followed by almost 3 minutes of things like this.
I also want to make clear that I did not receive any support.
Hilo has a better voice than the other Snarkers' dorky voices. Bro. I mean, that's true. That's true for a lot of Snarkers. It feels oftentimes that the reason why they're in the Snark community in general is because they fucking hate the way that they sound, the way that they look. And so therefore, that's why they try to fit in with a group of bullies that will only accept them only if they capitulate and become a bully themselves. Yeah, become part of some kind of adult fucking harassment campaign. But I believe Kilo is married. I think. I'm not sure. I was previously friends with somebody who is no longer in the space. I was friends with somebody who knew Kilo more personally. And before my career blew up, before everything else happened, that friend talked to me about Kilo. They described to me the way that Kilo essentially descended down the Snarker rabbit hole. Okay. Like somebody who is supposedly well-adjusted and maybe a better person or whatever, descends upon the Snarker rabbit hole and becomes like a unhinged freak. So, Kilo and I, we never talked, okay? Outside of the DMs recently, and some other stupid snarky versus snark shit, not to the degree of friends or anything like that, but yeah. I mean, hey, What can I say? That's sad. Well, you have to keep in mind, right? Like Duckbringer and you, right, Forest Cat, also came from that community. I would say that you guys have nice sounding voices with well-adjusted personalities after, you know, you fix your mind, right? I mean, yeah, by that very definition.
Financial or otherwise, from Hasan Piker. Hasan never even reached out to me privately.
Oh, by the way, me too. Okay. Hi.
To offer words of support. I also want to take the opportunity to acknowledge other misconduct and bad behavior I have exhibited online. For example, weaponizing the death of Asmongold's mother was inexcusable. AB, along with his wife Lena, have done more than I have ever done for the Palestinian people. I apologize to Ethan.
It was so strange that people watched this, and there were still people who I didn't even for a moment. I made my point very clear. I was like, "That's great. I'm glad that Casey said that. She should say whatever she needs to get out of this fucking nightmare scenario." But what's wild about it is that I still to this day wonder if there was a single person who watched that video and didn't realize that it was a hostage video and was like sincerely going, "Wow, Casey Tron finally leaked this, spilled the secrets. Like Hasan's a real piece of shit," and she seems sincerely apologetic to Asmongold. Like, I wonder if there's a single person who took this at face value, or if every single person just simply wanted to use this to advance that agenda and just spread it far and wide to be like, "See, yes."
Yeah, of course she was at gunpoint, but the real question is it warranted? And I think the answer is yes. If you're a cog in the snark machine, fuck around and find out.
His fans thought she was sincere. No.
And Gila personally, I have said extremely mean and cruel things about both of them. I also want to acknowledge the pervasive problem of anti-Semitism in leftist spaces. It should concern all of us. I condemn it and will not participate in it. To that end, I wish the client's success in enforcing TED Entertainment's copyright and protecting the legal rights of online content creators.
Ethan claims that these lawsuits weren't about the money, and he did this to protect the wider commentary community.
Even though theoretically I could sue a lot more creators and rake in millions of dollars, the purpose of this is not financial gain. I don't want to chill the reaction community into fear. Actually, the opposite. I hope that we can all unite against this type of egregious behavior that not only makes us all look bad, but could destroy the commentary community as we know it.
But when he was able to point a dollar bill shaped gun at Casey Tron's head and force her to say whatever he wanted.
You forgot, bro. Betelgeuse is Hasan. They think Ethan is.
I'm not saying. I think that Ethan Klein, if he wants to pursue like a legal recourse for the Snarkers, I think that saying that, oh yeah, I don't want to chill the React community, that is something that he has to say. I think just mainly because of his own history, or whatever. Like I'm saying that Ethan Klein lied here. I am saying that Ethan Klein lied here. I don't think he actually believes this. Obviously, like the entire point is that when it comes to the Snarkers, there are some reactions that are not okay, right? The entire point of going against the Snarkers means conceding to the point that not all reactions are okay, straight up. Yeah, that's the point. That's the point of the Snarkers, or why anti-snarking is a thing. Because you're essentially saying there are flaws in free speech, right? By definition.
So you're morally correct.
Just like how I can say Candace Owens and Tim Pool encourages mass shooters.
Hasan didn't help.
Jesus Christ, fucking jump scared me. Just like how I can say that Tim Pool and Candace Owens inspire school shooters and inspire serial killers, right? Just like the way that they play dumb and talk about the mental health of the shooter, right? Stochastic violence, basically, is what I'm talking about. Just like how these people talk about stuff like that. You know, not all speech is good speech. And we have to accept that, especially in this day and age. I think some extreme measures must be taken.
Art was taken seriously by literally everyone online. I don't know if like people, see, that's what I mean. I don't know if people actually took that seriously, or if they were just like using it as an opportunity to advance their fuck Hasan agenda. Not that it matters to me, but the fans think he dropped the Noah Samson lawsuit is goodwill. What do you mean they think it's sincere? Oh my God. Mitch McConnell, proof of life, Hasan's POV. I don't like that you guys are sharing my sexy ass boyfriend's photos from the hospital bed like that.
Even his intellectual property became an afterthought. He was almost exclusively interested in humiliating her, sucking up to Asmongold, dunking on Hasan.
Sexual harassment, not very progressive.
And otherwise just trying to win his little interpersonal online battles. Oh, and then boldly fucking lying afterwards that he had sympathy for Casey Tron and that the apology was genuine.
I think ultimately her apology was heartfelt and sincere.
You would have to be a total idiot to actually believe that.
That's incredibly. Yeah. By the way, now there's even further evidence. I can't say how much I know, but everyone now knows that apology was
Strength. Look at this shit. Look at the art. Isn't the art fucking sick? Look at Strength. Looks sick. Oh. Right.
forcibly written by Ethan Klein, considering that with the Noah Samson lawsuit, we found out.
Wow. Yeah. Wow.
With the Noah Samson lawsuit, we found out that that's precisely what Ethan has been doing.
Yeah.
So if you had any opinion that this was like a sincere apology, then
bro, the point. Oh my God. Like, I just don't understand like how many times not even people on Ethan Klein's side. Not even people on Ethan Klein's side probably assumes that was a fucking authentic analogy, except for people who are like genuinely mentally retarded. Okay, anybody who is normal is able to see that wasn't a genuine apology. Okay, but the point isn't the fact that it's a genuine apology. The entire point is that this is no fucking snarker, no snarker content creator ever wants to be put in a position where you're just like Casey Tron and you're forced to apologize in front of the entire internet, right? And everybody's gonna react to you and laugh at you and make fun of you, right? Nobody wants to be put in that position. That's the entire point. That's the point. The point isn't whether or not the apology was authentic or not. The point was disincentives for the snarkers to keep going. Okay? Anyway.
Then now you know Ethan has been doing this, advancing lawsuits, and then trying to... Do you have to pause every 3 seconds? Yes, I do, because I like to do transformative content, contrary to what the internet thinks. But yeah.
Well, I mean, does the internet even disagree all that much? Pretty sure, again, right? Pretty sure that Ethan Klein, when he was suing people for the Hasan content nuke thing, pretty sure that Hasan was not sued. So, since Hasan is not sued, does Ethan Klein even disagree with that? I don't know.
Yeah, it's very obvious that Ethan made Casey Tron write that. His lawyer...
Well, yeah, good. It's just like in elementary school and they're making you write apology letters. Has anybody gotten in disciplinary trouble in elementary school because you were a bad kid and then, the teacher made you write like an apology up and then read it out loud or some shit? Because I was a bad kid back then, okay? I was not a good kid. I was a troublemaker, okay? I mean, it's not obvious, I know. But the point is, listen, even as a kid, I was a snarker, okay? I was born a snarker, all right? But yeah, like especially when I was forced to write up apologies and shit. Yeah, like whatever. Did I actually mean it? Fuck no. But is it disincentive for me to no longer engage in behavior like that for the future? Yeah, actually, yeah, kind of, yeah. I just found new ways to engage in bad behavior, okay, rather than repeat previous bad actions. So yeah, hey, what can I say?
Signed off on it. And then he just sat.
How could you just not simply like me? I'm such a charismatic, charming person, right? My personality is just simply magnetic. Like even if you're a snarker, you have to acknowledge that you like me. Okay, I'm just kind of cool.
There on a stream and made it seem like it was a sincere apology. There was a heartfelt apology that Ethan had no say in.
Hold the line. This Hamlet shall
It's stressful, both emotionally and financially, to go through a lawsuit.
It is.
Jordan World, thank you so much for the raid. I don't exactly know who you are, but I don't know if you're in chat or anything like that, but thank you so much for the raid. Yeah, 40 viewers. Very nice. That's quite good. Thank you. I appreciate that. That's pretty much 40 viewers is... I'm a new guy, Lamau. Gotcha. 40 viewers is pretty much morale on a good day, okay?
I appreciate the situation she's been in.
You're the one putting strain on her situation. Ethan even made Casey Tron declare her willingness to help him pursue the H3 Snark moderators, who he claims colluded with the defendants to promote their streams.
For the record, I have agreed to cooperate with the clients.
Sorry, of course. I threw you a little bit under the bus, but it's okay. It's worth the sacrifice, right?
Their litigation against the H3 Snark mods for promoting my live stream to the extent that I am able.
But his evidence for this is just this Reddit post listing publicly announced streams that were going to be reacting to the content news.
She's working directly with the Snark subreddit moderators to siphon views, and their intentions couldn't be clearer.
But there's been no evidence presented of any two-way communication between the defendants and H3.
Yeah, by the way, no teacher would ever say like, oh yeah, you may have read out the apology, but you didn't actually mean it, right? Again, the reason why you read out the apology is because it's supposed to be embarrassing, right?
Snark. So Ethan's even using these coerced statements to promote narratives about his enemies that he likely doesn't even have evidence for, which means
when I got into a fight, okay, this is super funny, okay? When I was in elementary school, I bit like a white boy's nipples, okay? I got into a fight, and as a part of the tussle, I was like biting and punching and clawing, okay? Like a cat, all right? And I bit some white boy's nipples, and he was like much taller than me, okay? And I think that's what got me suspended from elementary school back then. And then I had to write up a letter. I wrote up a letter, and yeah, that apology letter was embarrassing. Did I actually mean it? Fuck no. I don't give a fuck. I'll bite that motherfucker's nipples any day. You tussle with me, dude, I'll fucking beat you up. Okay, that's what happened. All right, that's what happened back then. Okay, but did it prevent me from getting into future fights as much? Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, getting suspended sucks. Well, actually, getting suspended rocks because you get to go home and you get to stay home. All right, But then you would also have to suffer your fucking parents, okay, who are Asian parents. So, depending on what kind of family you have, okay?
That these totally spike-driven copyright lawsuits are being weaponized to compel the speech of the
being at home with the tiger mom is not exactly a pleasant vacation, okay?
people that Ethan is feuding with, and all of it is in service of simply managing his online reputation. And even if you hate Hasan and Denims and all these people, what Ethan is doing here.
Oh yeah, there was also this one incident in which I forgot what it was, and I don't know why the fuck I fought with this kid, okay? But basically, when I was in middle school, there was this girl who has a reputation of just, well, I mean, everyone was weird, okay? Everyone's fucking weird, but whatever, okay? I don't know what the fuck the context was, but she was like much taller than me at the time, and I was just a kid, okay? And she put out her hands, grabbed my throat, and started lifting me by like 2 fingers. With 2 fingers started lifting me. I was like, and I was like, what the fuck? And then afterwards I went to the principal's office and I was like, teacher, I think I was assaulted. And then they were like, oh, could you point towards who she is in this book right here? And I'm like, oh yeah, there she is.
Should repulse you, because it's extremely clear that his announcement video, the forced apology, his acceptance of the apology, this entire situation was a lie. And he lied because Ethan knows what he's doing is fucked up. He knows it's wrong to abuse the court to litigate personal grievances. So
now that I think about it, I think these years were formulative experiences, okay?
he has to pretend to be doing it for some greater purpose.
I mean, people don't like
You were basically a walking Naruto choking meme. Yes, actually, yes.
Justice, and we all see this, and no, it's not right. I hope that we can all unite against this type of egregious behavior that could destroy the commentary community as we know it. Ethan, don't settle. Delete her bank account, bone dry. That's not my intention. My intention is just to obviously.
And I got a choke fetish? No, I don't. If I have a choke fetish, I wouldn't have reported it.
Stand up for what's right.
But that's obviously not what's happening. None of what Ethan is doing will help the React community. These cases won't establish any helpful legal precedent, and he's not even setting a social precedent against blatantly stealing content because he's letting the most long-time egregious offenders off the hook. The precedent that Ethan is setting is that wealthy creators can use the threat of litigation to suppress the speech of people they dislike. And despite Ethan claiming he wants to avoid a chilling effect,
I don't want to chill the reaction community into fear.
This will establish a totally different kind of one. Spike-driven lawsuits like this threaten the entire foundation of online commentary. Healthy internet ecosystems thrive on.
Yeah, but who cares? I think the Snarkers are a big enough threat, okay? At the end of the day, like, you're not going to see me, like, fucking go like, yeah, this lawsuit is going to be good for me. This lawsuit is going to be good for me, King of Wands. But the entire point is that, well, it's worth it. It's worth it, right? That's the entire point of it. That's the entire point, okay? It's worth it. That's my argument. Yeah, it's worth it.
Creators engaging with each other's work, commentary, criticism, live reactions, whether positive or negative. These things expose audiences to new creators, generate more content, and keep the space dynamic and interesting. Creators respond to each other, build off each other's ideas, and issue criticisms. But weaponizing the legal system over personal.
I'll talk about the failure of free speech, okay? Because I have a lot to say about free speech, and I think it's worth exploring, okay?